Hi everybody, Dragon Shinobi here, and today, it's not going to be another, you know, laid out video or a planned game video, like I've been doing with Devil May Cry, which, by the way, I have everything recorded. I'm just editing and putting it out. So the series is finished being recorded. I just have to quote unquote edit because since I don't edit, pretty much, and unless it's like the Dying Light versus Halo Infinite video. But I would like to do more of those. But since this is one of the games that I'm really looking forward to, I figured you can see all these tabs I have up at the top of my screen. And it is a bunch of videos from the official Dying Light YouTube channel by Techland, whatever. And I figured it'd be nice seeing how the game comes out in like 2 months. And oh wow, that came out 11 hours ago. Oof, I didn't even realize. I don't even. Huh, okay. But I don't know how much more Techland is going to put out for teasers for Dying Light 2, giving us backstory or anything like that. So I figured we could go through each video, starting with the 2019 4K gameplay demo. Yeah, excuse me. Had a burp. Everything will be in 1080p, hopefully. Nothing lags or anything. And it'll go to, I'll leave it up for a second, so it'll be the first Ask Me, and, you'll see the title of the video when I switch to it. But if there's a certain video that I didn't show here, it's because I didn't think it would be important, really. I've seen some of these videos before, like specifically the first gameplay demo, because it blew my mind, and I was so excited. Checking. Okay, I'm not muted. Cool. Okay. And this blew my mind. They are finally coming out with Dying Light 2 after I want to say like 7 years. I'm probably wrong on that, but before we get started into this, just a little update. I changed my setup a little bit. I've got new Wi-Fi adapter since I can't have Ethernet currently, and a new motherboard. Trying to get a hold of a 3060, but God help me with that. Other than that, my build is hopefully good enough for recording and playing Dying Light 2 and Halo Infinite. But I'm gonna try and just focus on Dying Light 2 in this video. But yeah, so after going through and talking about, I just feel like we should take a broad look at everything that Techland has graciously given us, backstory-wise and everything, in these 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 videos, almost 12. But, I do apologize if there's a certain video here that I should have had or anything, because I know some of them are in different languages and all that. I didn't have any of the Gamescom stuff, I believe. So I know there's a Dying to Know Gamescom edition. It's one of the I think it's the Dying to Know episode 3. So I had the Dying to Know More number 3. Instead of the Gamescom edition. Just cut down on time because this is going to be like 2.5 hours. I figured up at least. But I might talk in between a video or two, but I'm gonna try and stay as silent as possible. So it's just I hope there's no copyright claims or anything. If there is, I apologize. And hopefully there's not ads. Although I do use ad blocker myself, so crucify me if you will. But this is purely a thing for having this broad look at everything they've given us from 2019 to 2021. And as you can see down here at the bottom right of my screen, it's 11:47 p.m. on September 13th of 2021. And this is just something I was thinking about while I was working. and I figured this would be cool. It'd be something that be easy for me to put out for you, and something that I'm intrigued about. And I know plenty of people are really wanting, to have updates about this, and I figured this would be the best way to do this for just if you just want an overall broad look. If you want to skip around, I'll try and have the timestamps between each video, because some of them are half an hour long, some of them are like 2 minutes long. And, I understand it's kind of a pain in the ass for people. So, come back to this video. I would appreciate it, honestly. And then we could just, we can pick up along, but, here's the channel, just showing it off. This is where I got all the videos from. And let's go ahead and get into the first video. It is the Dying Light 2 4K gameplay demo. I believe this was the first look of Dying Light 2 that they ever gave us. And I'm gonna go ahead and mute my mic, and then we're gonna watch the video. So I'll see you after the video.
Welcome to the world premiere of the E3 2019 Dying Light 2 gameplay demo. Dying Light 2 is an open-world action RPG game that gives you the power to make choices that change both the narrative and the world around you. The mission we're about to see is crucial for the narrative. The city is on the brink of destruction, as drinking water is just about to end. Our guide and friend, Frank, believes that the only person that can solve the drinking water problem is the Colonel, a man with a bad reputation, who leads a group called the Renegades from the city's pumping station. Frank uses his status to call a meeting between the Renegades and the officers from the two main factions that operate in the city. Our game's protagonist, Aiden Caldwell, is invited as well, and he's just about to join the others.
Aiden, we need you. Renegades will be here any minute. Damn. Where have you been?
Around town.
Drink. Need to rest?
No, I'm okay. I'll be okay.
It was a good act. What nice to see you. Hello, Aiden.
Wait, they don't know?
That we've run out of water? No, they don't.
Were you gonna tell them?
If we work things out with the Colonel, I won't have to.
What if we don't?
Then tomorrow, this place is done. Either way, tonight should be a party. Let's go get one. He's celebrating early. Cheers to you, Aiden!
You're not
Aiden! Where's the big guy? Is he late? Or is he just a dick?
Matt's upstairs, waiting.
You know this blows. Lola's last show, and here I am, going to grovel with the butcher.
Matt, it's time. Let's go.
Matt?
I'm drinking.
This is why we're screwed. How's this fuckhead gonna get along with anyone?
Enough! Look, fellas, either the Colonel turns on his gold-plated taps, or we're all dead. So seeing as he's graciously agreed to talk, we're gonna dress up real nice and go to his island on our very best behavior. Now move your ass, Matt.
Only if I can kick head.
Off to the slaughter.
We're in the central part of the city, so-called District 2. The city is made up of 7 very different regions, and each one is a truly individual environment that introduces new parkour moves, enemies, and gameplay mechanics.
Aiden!
What, are you not going?
There's a lot of them down there. Things will get fucked up at the castle, I guarantee it. You got a plan B?
I'll improvise.
What if he improvises?
It'll work out.
You so sure about that?
Frank!
Fuck! Knew it!
Weapon modding makes a comeback in Dying Light 2. We have a modded weapon, and now, let's find a good moment to use it.
You're as good as dead. Taking you out.
Stay with me, Frank. You get after those fuckers. I'll look after him.
What happened?
What happened? Those fucking renegades shot him. Where were you?
Aiden.
Hold still.
Aiden.
Catch that truck, or you would never get onto that island.
The first choice, chase the truck or stay with Frank.
Just keep him alive.
Stay in contact. Now run! Damn it! Run!
Hold on, Frank.
Okay, let's chase the truck and see what consequences that brings. The truck is gone, but this tall building looks like a great vantage point. We should use it. As you can see, life is booming on the rooftops, and this is something you can change by your actions and decisions.
Hey, have you found the truck yet?
Not yet. Matt,
Can you see the truck?
I'm looking. That's Frank.
Can't find the doctor. But don't think about that now. I'm on it.
That's the Renegade's truck.
I have it. I'll get them for this, Matt.
Just keep your cool, kid. Remember, what matters is the water.
This calls for something special.
Oh, shit.
In Dying Light 2, we have doubled the number of parkour moves, so let's use some of them now.
We're working here. Look out!
deep inside a dark zone. Let's run away quickly because the infection will kill us. UV flashlight, very strong, but needs to be aimed.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Our stamina level seems to be too low to open it. Infection progresses. Our biomarker is turning red. Another way to use UV light is the UV flare. It covers a big area, but lasts only for a few seconds.
Matt! Come on, Matt, I lost it, Matt!
Wait. We've got a vision. Confirmed. They're heading onto the viaduct now.
Which viaduct?
Over the track.
Okay, on my way.
Be careful, Aiden. The Colonel, he's a psycho. He doesn't mess around.
Neither do I.
Leave me alone!
Take me to the castle.
Are you nuts?
Just drive.
I was doing nothing, man. Just chilling. And bam, suddenly everyone's clawing at each other like fucking rats. You mind? Can't handle this sober. So much to see a gun, I shit myself. It's like a disability, you know? This one time I saw this guy knife two dudes in the metro, straight up stabbed them, then pulled out a grenade.
How much longer?
It was a fucking grenade, man. I thought it was dead.
Why did you shoot Frank?
I didn't shoot nobody. Must have been some kind of fuck up, man. Was he your friend? Of course he fucking was. You gonna kill me?
Steve, pick up your fucking stoner.
Say everything is fine.
I'm here, you bitches. Where the hell you been, right?
Coming in.
Yeah, he's on his. I mean, everything's fine.
Just don't screw up the code, and someone will finally get to shoot you.
Guys, I love you.
Get a bigger ass clown for this.
What is the code?
3 horns. No. No. 3 horns.
You better get it right.
So this is where the Colonel resides. It seems we're entering the heart of darkness. So just to recap, the city is out of drinking water, and people believe only the Colonel can solve this. We tried to talk with his emissaries, but something went wrong. It's time to talk to this guy in person. The fate of the city is in our hands now.
What's wrong?
Fuck! Guys! 3 short ones!
What is wrong?
Good thing we didn't kill Steve. Without him and the code, getting in would be much more difficult.
They're gonna kill me!
Steve.
I have to raise the alarm!
Don't even try, or I'll come back for you.
They say it's he. I know. I say patience. They will lay.
Came into this with my sister. She was to have a baby. Girl. Huge girl. Someone wanted that for her growing up with something. So I came. Studying is less important for a child. My sister moved here because of her. From a small town. You probably heard of her. Then she's in the hospital. In the center.
I'm on the island. What's with the butcher thing? All I see is regular people. Huh. I should talk to the colonel.
The time for talk is over. Frank's dead. You there? Hey.
Our friend, Frank, is dead. If we had chosen to stay with him, perhaps this story would look differently. But now, this raises the stakes for all of this.
Upstairs, the roof! Grab him! He's in the bed! Stop hiding! Gonna slam you!
Okay, this looks like the colonel's place. Let's pay the guy a visit.
Where is he? Where's the Colonel?
She's afraid of you. Play, Anna. There's nothing to fear. So you've come to kill me, have you?
I've come to turn on the pumps.
I won't let you do that. Where's Frank?
He's dead.
Dead? How?
Your man shot him.
Wait, Sam. You saw it happen? You saw my man shoot?
Oh, Matt did.
Matt? I sent 5 men. Where are they?
Hey, what's happening?
Look, we can count bodies later. The city's waiting for water.
Stop. Water? You can't turn on the water from here. They played us, don't you understand?
Don't listen to him. Turn on the pump.
You do know what he wants, right? He wants you to kill me, open the doors and let his butchers in. You want water for the city? I know how to get it, but you've got to trust me.
For fuck's sake, he killed Frank.
The Colonel looks like he knows what he's talking about, but can we trust him? On the other hand, we really need that drinking water, and we need it today.
I'm turning on those pumps.
What a pity.
This is another new Dying Light tool, the Scorpio. It's a devastating ranged weapon that basically one-shots your enemies.
You are as good as this motherfucker!
The grappling hook can also be used during combat and combined with other moves.
I'll crush your fucking skull!
Hey, talk to me.
I'm alive, but the Colonel's getting away.
Fuck him. The water's what matters.
I'm turning on the pumps.
Each pump should have its own valve. Find it.
There's a problem.
What's that? Repeat.
The alarm went off. The pumps stopped. What's going on, Matt?
It's just an old piece of junk. Find the control room and turn on the main valve before the whole thing falls apart.
I'll find it. Stay on the radio. Okay, I'm in the control room.
Good. The main valve should be somewhere there. Frank would be proud of you.
Dying Light 2 gives you the power to make choices that have massive consequences for the whole city, the sandbox space of our game. Turning on the pumps reveals a huge open world region for you to explore, with new mechanics, quests, and things to find. It also changes the direction of the narrative. The Colonel was right. There really was a plot against him. But only he knew the area was flooded for a reason. Thank you for watching the demo of Dying Light 2.
Okay, it is working. Okay, so some quick points there, seeing how that was a 26-minute video. I don't trust Matt, just from what I've seen. I think the guys on the blue armor are called the Peacekeepers or something like that. There's something not right with them to me. Although, then again, I don't trust the Renegades. I'm kind of in a damned if I do, damned if I don't situation. And at the very end there, you saw what I'm assuming was a new volatile. Because one of the things that Techland has been talking about is Dying Light 2 takes place 15 years after Dying Light 1. So that's 15 years of the Haran virus evolution and mutations and all that. And, you know, I can't wait to see what new volatiles there are and how the original volatile has changed or improved or anything like that. There was a weapon in there, the air rifle, I believe it was called the Scorpio. I don't believe we'll be able to craft that, or if we are able to craft it, we'll have very limited ammo for it that we will only be able to buy. Because, well, they said no guns besides like a single shot shotgun, which I believe we'll see in one of these videos. But, let's see. Frank, he seemed like a guy with a plan who died pointlessly. I don't trust Juan. He reminds me of Pagan Min from Far Cry 4. And then Matt, he's got a hidden agenda behind him, and which I'm assuming he's probably the one who shot Frank, or he had someone in his group of the Peacekeeper shoot him. Now, I'm not entirely sure what to make of the rest of the video. It seemed pretty straightforward. The grappling hook I love. The paraglider is a cool mechanic. They probably need to change some stuff with the stamina system, because when Aiden, or the player, whatever you want to call him, I'm just going to call him player, gets into the what do you call it, the hideout area, the castle, whatever, I'm not sure. The pumping station, I'll call it that. And he's going around the outside after Steve, I believe his name was. Parks and everything. He has to climb up what looks like a makeshift ladder, and that consumes stamina. That doesn't exactly feel like, to me, something that needed to start consuming stamina. I mean, I get it makes players not climb everything. But at the same time, there was also a lot of climbing that didn't consume stamina. It felt like it should have. I wonder if they're going to have parkour stamina like they did before. And I hope that, this is probably going to seem like a pet peeve or something. We can't have infinite stamina for fighting and parkour, because I feel like that's one of the things that takes away from the first Dying Light. And it doesn't exactly make a whole lot of sense, because eventually you will get tired of swinging around swords and machetes, hammers, what you name it. Also climbing up all these buildings. But in the first one, you were, Kyle Crane, a GRE operative with, a mercenary. I'm just gonna call him. That's pretty much what he was. But still, I'll touch on. I think it's in the Meet the Monsters video. Dying to Know More, Rosemary. So the fate of the city. I'll talk about it later. The wristband that gauges how long you have in the night, the dark zones, or I'm gonna call them quarantine zones. I'll touch on that when it pops up, because I believe that's in the Meet the Monsters video or whatever. So this is the first Ask Me Anything episode. I believe there's only 2 Ask Me Anythings, and then it's Dying to Know More for the rest of them, or something like that. Kind of short video, 12.5 minutes. And I will shut up and we will watch the video.
Hi everyone, my name is Tymon Smektawa and I'm the lead game designer of Dying Light 2. Welcome to our AMA. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for all of the questions you have sent us. It was more than 9,000 questions, so it's a lot. We have chosen the one that were appearing most frequently. So first, the number 1 question. How big is the map of Dying Light 2? So this is something we have said before. It's about double the size of all of the maps from Dying Light 1 combined. If you have played the first game, I think it will be easy for you to imagine how big the map will be. You just take the slums, you take the old town, you combine them and you double the number, and that's roughly the size of the game space in Dying Light 2. If you want to know the number, it's more than 6 square kilometers big, almost 7 square kilometers. But that's a simple answer which doesn't take into account the verticality of the world. So just imagine there are hundreds of buildings and each one of them has at least a couple of floors. There are even skyscrapers, there are roofs, bridges, all of that stuff. So you can imagine how big the actual space you'll be playing in is.
Oh, that's a good one. What is that zombie with branches on its back? Volatiles already gave me mini heart attacks. I'm worried I will lose my life now.
I'm worried as well because the volatiles in Dying Light 2 are even more scary. So the fingers crossed for you. And answering your question, the guy with the branches, he's actually a new type of infected in our game. And I don't want to spoil too much because we are preparing a huge drop of information about our infected that's coming. But what I can tell you right now is that he's definitely not a nice guy. And he will also give you quite a lot of those mini heart attacks. The interesting thing about this guy is that you can actually make him happen, make him appear in your game. So the fact that he appears in your world is just one of the consequences that you can have when you make specific decisions. So if he really is that scary for you, just try to make good decisions and maybe he will not haunt your dreams.
Is there just going to be zombies at night, or will we see some wandering around on rooftops?
That's a very good question because it touches on the most important rule of the world of Dying Light 2, which is the day is for humans, but the night is for the infected. What that means is that during the day, the infected hide inside buildings, inside dark places where they can avoid sun rays or UV lights. So yes, there are less of them on the streets during the day, but it doesn't mean you won't encounter them. There are still some of them are weakened, some of them are slower, but they still pose a threat. Another threat that you have to face during the day is of course bandits and other humans, but that's a different type of story, another story. One more thing that you can do is you can actually draw the infected from their hiding places. For example, if you make a lot of noise, so then they run away, run from their hiding places, and they try to attack you, they try to fight with you, or some other NPCs, some other humans around. Of course, it lasts only for a short amount of time because they are afraid of the sun rays, so then they go back, but yes, you will still be able to encounter them during the day. Another interesting thing you asked about is the rooftops, and it's interesting because it touches on another very important concept of Dying Light 2, which is that the rooftops are being used by the people that live in the city to rebuild the civilization. So while you will be exploring, actually you will see a lot of safe houses, farm fields, and additional stuff like that on the rooftops. So they need to be safe. So there aren't that many biters, virals, or other infected on the rooftops during the day. But of course, when the night comes, it's a completely different type of story, because the day is for humans, but the night is for the infected.
Okay, but what about the guns?
Yes, guns. Another question that came up very often. So this is something we have also been telling you guys already. So there are no firearms in the world of Dying Light 2. Why? Because it's a world where the civilization is destroyed, is gone. So actually no one is able to create like professional firearms. There will be ranged weapons, bows, and something extra, which fit more the Modern Dark Ages idea, the Modern Dark Ages concept. Having said that, there's actually one option you can choose to use something similar to a firearm, and this is a handmade shotgun. A very nice tool we have introduced for you to craft with the stuff you have found, you can find during exploration. When you craft it, when you create it, you can start using it using your left hand. So you can have a shotgun in your left hand and a machete or a sword or a hammer in your second one. And it really allows you to combine those two tools in combat encounters. A very powerful combination. But the thing is that the shotgun, because it's handmade, it doesn't last long. So it can get destroyed very easily. So it's up to you when you decide to use that powerful piece of weapon. Okay, so is the grappling hook still in the game, or as it was in the extended gameplay trailer? If yes, how does it work? So of course it is still in the game, and we have really put a lot of effort into making it a completely new tool, a tool that's better than the one that you got used to in Dying Light 1. So I think the most important thing for us was to make the grappling hook as real, as natural, as physical as possible. So it works differently now. You will not be able to fly through the whole map in 1 minute, as in the first game. As I said, it's way more physical and way more realistic. So if you need something to help you imagine this, is that in the first game, with the grappling hook, you could almost feel like Spider-Man. In this game, in the second game, you feel more like a Tarzan. Swinging on ropes and everything. So of course you could say, I prefer to be a Spider-Man than a Tarzan. Good for you, but wait till you see the thing in action. It's really immersive, and it has a lot of uses, not only in traversal, not only in parkour, but also in combat. So trust us, we know what we're doing, and you will enjoy the new grappling hook a lot. Oh, this one is very important and very interesting. The question is, will there be cars, vehicles in the main game area? So the answer is, you will be driving inside a vehicle in one specific mission, the one we have shown to you in our last demo. We didn't want to spend more time on it because we feel all of our other traversal methods are way more interesting. So of course you have parkour, and with our natural movement system and the improvements we have made in the second game, you can really travel through the city with great ease, overcoming any obstacles, doing those huge jumps. So it's really very exciting. And on top of that, we also added the grappling hook, the paraglider, and some additional stuff we'll be talking about in the future. So we wanted to stick to that because this is the DNA of Dying Light. This is what makes our game unique. Okay, so this one is actually another question that appeared very, very frequently. So the question is, how many choices do you have that actually change the world and the story? So I don't want to give you an exact number, but I want to explain to you how the whole system works. So in Dying Light 2, you make choices, you make decisions on 3 different levels. So the first one, as you can say, the upper one, the top one, is a number of main story choices, a few of them, which really change how the story flows and what kind of ending you will get when you finish the whole experience. Then the second level is choices and decisions you make inside side quests or even main quests that mostly have consequences that are contained within those quests, within those missions, or quite often they also influence the world. An example of this is in one of the quests you can, for example, save an opera singer. If you do that, if you make a correct choice, then she appears in one of the hubs, in one of the safe zones in the game, and starts singing. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people will tell you it was a stupid thing to do, but it's all up to you. And this is an example of one of those little details that you can actually change in your world. And the third level is the so-called city alignment system. And this is a system where, based on your choices, one of the factions takes control over specific areas of the city. So when they do that, of course, they install their forces, they install a lot of different things that belong to that faction, and some of the things are the things that you can use in gameplay. So, for example, if you play with the Peacekeepers, they start installing so-called combat helpers, combat traps that you can use while fighting with bandits or infected or whatever. If you side with survivors and you give parts of the city to survivors, they start installing things like zip lines and trampolines and other stuff that makes the traversal easier. So depending on your choices, you can also shape the gameplay space, the gameplay environment, and have a different experience depending on what you do. The next one is, how diverse are regions in Dying Light 2? Will we see fields and plains, suburbs, or any additional locations? So as you know, the game takes place inside a city, and it's a huge city, so as all of the huge cities out there in the world, it's actually quite diverse. You can say that there are 2 main regions in the city, which is an area which is a little bit close to Old Town, and another one which is more like a downtown with huge skyscrapers and all of that stuff. Within those regions, there are 7 zones where you can make decisions and assign those zones to different factions. So, for example, if you side with survivors, you will start seeing things like fields or bakeries or other small communities that are rebuilding themselves around various city locations. And if you side with Peacekeepers, you will start seeing more of our military stuff like outposts, barricades, things like that. So depending on your choices and how you assign each of the zones, you can end up with a completely different looking type of city.
Alright, so, really nothing for me to go over. There's one thing I want to go over. Where is it? Let me see if I can find it. It was the volatile that we got a little bit of showed a little bit.
Floors. There are even sky.
Big as the map.
Many biters.
It wasn't towards the end of the video, was it? Was it like really No, it had to been really early. Yeah, it was really early. Okay. No, come on.
And maybe he will not haunt your dream.
Going to be zombies at
Just try specific is
Come
people. This is
on.
quite key information. I don't want branches. The fingers crossed for you. And answering your question, the guy with the branches, he's actually a new type of infected in our game. And I don't want to spoil too much because we are preparing a huge. Now is that he's definitely you can have scary for you. Just try specific and the
already gave me a good one. That zombie
Come on.
to question.
I know.
The guy with
they
the
showed
branches,
him.
he's actually a new type of infected in our game.
Literally
And,
just watched it.
I don't want to spoil too much because we are preparing a huge drop of information.
Am I just dumb and missed it?
To make good decisions, and maybe he will not haunt your dreams.
Okay, come on. Somebody had to have put it in the comments.
Still pose a threat. Another threat that you have.
Come on. Somebody had to have. Really? Like, seriously? Nobody put it? Huh. Man. Oh, well, come on. I could have swore there was a point in the video where we saw the branch dude.
Actually, a new type of infected in our game, and I about our infected. That's guy.
There it is.
Interesting thing.
It's like 212. Yes, this guy. Oh god, what? See, it from like it doesn't say like it doesn't come out to me as like a screamer. It doesn't come out to me like a normal volatile. It doesn't come out to me as a viral. It's gonna sound stupid, and it's probably gonna be more terrifying than it actually is. But this guy kind of looks like he could fly. And that's kind of scary because, you know, all the zombies are going to be inside during the day, and there's nothing to worry about at night. Or they're all to worry about at night, so we can just, you know, they'll be on the streets at night. We don't have to worry about looking up. And there was one thing that I should have touched on in the last video, the gameplay demo. See if I can find it real quick. When Aiden is looking for the truck. I believe it's after this.
He's a psycho. He doesn't mess around.
Neither do I.
Yes, right here. So I'm assuming we'll be able to go in through all this forest because there's like an observatory up here. There's like a weird mansion, probably tourist center here. Also, these fell down. There's just so much, like the train here, it's the highway. Like, I would be surprised if we couldn't go up here because how in depth the first Dying Light was with how far you could go and everything. Like, there's probably an Easter egg up here or something. You know. So, okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the Ask Me Anything second episode, which August 2019, April, May. Yep, okay. Making sure these videos are in order. Oh yeah, so here's their whatever the VK is. They've got a Discord, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, blah blah blah. I figured I'd go ahead and shout that out. But let's go ahead and watch the second Ask Me Anything.
Hi everyone. So the next question is, from the footage we have already seen, Aiden seems much less confident and more nervous than Crane. Will the game's plot focus on his growth as a person, the same way the first game focused a lot on Crane and his changing motives? So the answer is yes, absolutely. This is what great stories are about, right? So Aiden is a defined character when the game starts, and he has his own motives and he has his own mood and characteristics, and all of those things impact how he behaves at the start of the game. But he's also a character that is searching for identity and is also searching for discovery, for a secret from his past, which of course I cannot spoil to you at this point because I would like you to discover this in-game. But the thing is that as the game progresses, the character arc builds and you have impact over the character arc, and actually by your decisions you will be able to kind of change or decide what Aiden you will have at the end of the whole story, at the end of the whole experience. So depending on your choices, Aiden can be a little bit more selfish or a little bit more focused on the collective and the needs of others. And I think this is the most important thing that you will decide regarding the character. Another question, and this one is about GRE. So the question is, will the GRE make a return, or at least be a player in what led up to the events in Dying Light 2? I understand that DL2 is set far in the future from DL1, but I find it a bit difficult to imagine how an organization with enough money and power to fly in drops and antis in daily could disappear if the virus wasn't wiped out.
The GRE is such an enormous organization. They left very many traces in the map. So yes, this organization was very wealthy, very powerful. So imagine what can you find when looking for those traces?
So yes, GRE is making a return in Dying Light 2, and it will play a very important part in the overall world building of the game. So you will see plenty of bits and pieces and collectibles and notes and references to what happened to GRE and basically how it connects and what role it plays in the events between Dying Light 1 and Dying Light 2. Another thing is that you will also encounter a lot of GRE related stuff in the game, and actually there will be even open world activities built around you discovering and exploring abandoned GRE labs and quarantine areas. So if you are really interested in the backstory of GRE, you will have a lot of places where you will be able to learn it. The next question is about romance. So the question is, I don't really play games with romance in them, but in the first Dying Light game, Jade and Crane had somewhat of a romantic relationship going on. So can we expect to see something along the same lines for Dying Light 2? So for sure, you will experience a lot of very strong, very complex relations between people, between the main character and the NPCs, between the NPCs themselves. And of course, there will be quite a few very strong female characters. But we don't have romance options like in BioWare games, for example, because this was never our goal. Okay, so the next one is the heavy one. And we have been asked this basically since we announced the game. So the question is, which ending of the following is canonical? So it's still a little bit too early to say it all to you guys, but let me just tell you that the events in Dying Light 2 and the events that have led up to Dying Light 2 are very strongly connected to what happened in the first game. So when you play Dying Light 2, you will surely discover the answer to this big question.
The story of Dying Light 2 takes place several years after the story of Dying Light 1. Kyle Crane was such an important person in all the events that happened in Dying Light 1, so he must have left at least an impact of what will happen in Dying Light 2.
So this one is actually very interesting, so please listen closely. Will it be possible to recreate the technology and the government, or perhaps people will be doomed to live in the modern dark ages for a long time? So the question is straight and simple. We don't want to give you an option to rebuild the government and technology and community as we know it today. Why? Because to be honest, we thought that would actually be quite boring. We know that stuff. There's no point in rebuilding this. What is more interesting to us is actually present our own vision of what the future could be after an apocalypse like this. So yes, you will stay in the modern dark ages we created, but as has been said quite a few times in this AMA, you will be able to shape the future by your decisions. So you will be able to decide what kind of buildings, what kind of structures, what kind of community will the place be after you finish the game. There goes another one, and this is another one that we have been asked since the first E3 when we announced the game. So the question is, will some characters from DL1 be returning in this game too? And if so, then can you name a few, or maybe it's confidential? So Dying Light 2 takes place in a completely different place and quite a lot of years after the events of the first one. So for this reason, you will not encounter any returning characters from the first game. But of course, there will be quite a lot of references to what happened in the first game and also some of the characters. So please keep a close eye on what you will be able to find and discover in the game.
Julia, could you tell us, will there be more open world events such as the airdrops from the first game?
Yes, there will be a lot more open world events in Dying Light 2. Not only we will have the living world with encounters all over, but also you will be able to explore new locations such as GRE Quarantine or dark places.
Oh, this is very, very important. It's about the factions in the game. So the question is, what can you say about the main factions in Dying Light 2? How do these two groups affect the entire city? So yes, there are two main factions in the Dying Light 2 world, and it's up to you to decide which one of those you want to side with. The thing about them is that their strategy to survival differs. So first of all, there are the peacekeepers, and these are the strong military types. So they focus mostly on combat. They want to kill all of the infected that are out there. So they build powerful weapons, they build powerful traps, and they work kind of like this military regime. The other faction is survivors, and they want to adapt, they just want to survive, so they adapt to the environment, building their communities, planting fields, and also investing and focusing on traversal. They don't fight that much, they just want to be able to travel the city easily and escape any threats. So if you side with them, you will start seeing more and more of their traversal helpers, and you will be able to use that as well. Of course, aside from the peacekeepers and the survivors, there are other groups in the city. The next important one is the renegades, and they are basically the bad guys. So you will face them and you will have to make some decisions how you want to deal with them. And then there are also smaller groups which are used mostly in side quests or as like additional background characters for the main quests. Colorful people, colorful groups with their own ideas, agendas that you will be able to discover while you'll be playing Dying Light 2. there goes another question, and it says, will I be able to side with no factions and be an enemy to all? So you have to understand that our world is extremely brutal, extremely primal, and it's full of threats and conflicts. So if you have no allies, you basically die very quickly. And we don't want you to die very quickly, and we also want you to make a decision. We also want you to make a statement. So a lone wolf option is not available. You will have to decide if you want to play with those guys or the other ones.
Okay, so there was something.
GRE,
Okay, so first thing, the GRE global relief effort. They'll have some quarantine zones or dark places, as they called it.
Deal one, but
okay, maybe it was question 3. No, 4? Oh, okay, ending of the following is canonical. So the way that I believe Julia, or however you pronounce her name, again, I apologize. Not again. I apologize if I don't pronounce her name correctly. Julia.
You will surely discover the answer to this big question.
The story of Dying Light.
Her. Also, she's creepy, but in a good way. Which ending of the following is canonical? I hope Crane becoming the Night Hunter is the canonical ending. But listen to the way she says this.
Light 2 takes place several years after the story of Dying Light 1. Kyle Crane was such an important person in all the events that happened in Dying Light 1, so he must have left at least an impact of what will happen in Dying Light 2.
He must have left at least an impact of what will happen in Dying Light 2. Now, she's probably trying to be as monotone, not hinting at either one, but I feel like this is a hint that going the nuclear option is the correct ending. But personally, I feel like Crane would have went for the he's trying to find the cure. He finally found something. He's bringing it back, and he turns into the Night Hunter. Or he might have just turned into a volatile. I believe he turned into the Night Hunter, though. And it's like, I feel like the Night Hunter is like the ultimate evolution of all the volatiles, and like it is the peak. It's the apex predator of volatiles. God, I hope that's the right ending. Okay, so... shut up. Hackerwacken. Sure. Okay, and now we have the first Dying to Know episode, and this is half an hour, so... woo. So I'll shut up. We'll watch this, and yeah.
Now run!
Hello guys, nice to meet you. I'm Leah, and this is Dying to Know. If you're dying to know what's going on in the world of Dying Light 2, then you're in the right place. Here we'll be showing you all the news from the latest from the Dying Light world. We'll be announcing a few contests, we'll be talking to developers, and probably most importantly, we're going to be showing you a brand new gameplay trailer where you can see the current state of the Dying Light 2 game. But first, there's someone here I need to introduce you to. It's Aiden Caldwell.
I'm a pilgrim, an outcast, roaming like a Japanese Ronin or an Old West desperado. My past is dark, but my future has a tiny, dying light at the end of this tunnel. Hello, guys. My name is Jonas Scott, and I voice Aiden Caldwell in Dying Light 2. But before that, I'm gonna host this program with Leia, if you don't mind.
My pleasure. Well, I'm ready. Jonah's definitely ready. And I hope you're ready.
So if you're dying to know, just like us, then stick with us.
The story told in Dying Light 2 occurs 20 years after the events of the first game. And if you're wondering what happened in those intervening 20 years, well, there's no better person to ask than the Dying Light 2 world director, Thomas Gabau, with who I'll be talking in just a moment.
And after that, I'll be speaking with Piotr Jamenek, the narrative director of the game, about the characters that appear in Dying Light 2.
Welcome to the show, Thomas. So the first question I have for you today is, do I need to have played Dying Light 1 to sort of understand what's happening in Dying Light 2?
No, actually, you don't. Like you mentioned before, a game takes place some 20 years later, in a world where humankind has lost the war to the virus. So, in a way, you could say that Dying Light 2 takes us to the world beyond the apocalypse.
Intriguing. All right, tell me more, please.
Well, you remember the events of Harran in 2014. Well, after that, world leaders, they had a tough choice to make. They had to isolate the city of Harran.
Right.
For that, they created an exclusion zone. Like in Chernobyl, only a lot more people were left to die inside the walls.
Yeah, right. So they just isolated the entire city. And did it help? Did it stop the virus?
Yeah, for a while it worked. Enough for everyone to forget about it, at least. Only in secret, a handful of scientists continued to study the virus. You know, manipulating its DNA, creating new strains. They were looking for commercial and military applications. So, you know, they're doing it for the money, really.
Yeah, of course. So what happened next?
Well, next, the shit hit the fan. By Christmas 2021, one of these mutated strains escaped from a level 4 laboratory located near Geneva. We don't really know if this was accidental or not, but this time the virus was much faster than any government. Before the world could react, civilization was on the brink of collapse. People were dying in the streets, capital cities were burning. By the end of 2023, 98% of the population had been lost to the virus. There was a few settlements remaining, but only one city was still standing. The last bastion of mankind, our city, Villedor, aka the city.
Right, so Villedor is what we have left. So that's everything that's happened outside of the city. What actually happens inside Villedor?
Well, the city has unique rules. First of all, it's surrounded by seemingly impassable walls. And inside the walls, the people decided to use a radical new weapon against the infection, which actually gave them the upper hand in the first stages of the pandemic. But it also created terrifying new monster archetypes. 15 years on, a new equilibrium sort of emerged in the city. By daylight, human factions fight to control the city, and at night, the streets become the realm of these bloodthirsty, infected monsters.
Great. Well, that is extremely interesting. Thank you very much, Thomas. And we'll be hearing more about the vibrant and fantastic city soon, I hope. But first, I think we need to hear a little bit more about the characters.
Our second guest is a man of two industries, cinema and gaming. In a previous life, he wrote the hit HBO series Vataha?
Vataha, yeah.
Vataha. And then he moved on to Techland to become a narrative director. Piotr Jamenek.
Hi, guys. Thank you.
So we have plenty of time to talk about the rest of the characters in Dying Light 2. There are tons of them. But today, I think we want to focus on Aiden Caldwell, the protagonist. You want to talk more about him? Or?
Yeah, sure. So Aiden, he's the member of Outcasts, you know, the group of people traveling through this dangerous world of Dying Light 2 called pilgrims, because he's looking for his relative, the person whom he lost many, many years ago, and that person is his only memory from the past. And the only answer to whom Aiden really is.
Aiden is a really rich, deep character, very much cooler than I am.
Oh, no, come on.
I mean, he can run across buildings, jump from rooftop to rooftop, use all kinds of weapons.
Yeah, well, you know, he didn't have much choice. This world is full of infected, bloodthirsty creatures, so he didn't have much choice, right? The weak die, the strong survive, and Aiden, he just has to be strong. But why did he come like that? Why him? That's the main question of the game, and the player will have opportunity also to decide how Aiden will evolve. Will he help the weak? Will it distract him from his main goal? Or maybe he will just strive to the end of his search as soon as possible.
I can't imagine trying to survive or live in a city like that as a lone wolf by yourself without any kind of support.
Well, he's not gonna be alone, you know. He will meet many people. But again, depending on the player choices, some of them will become his allies, but some of them will become his enemies. One of the group he will encounter are the Night Runners, the former special force officers who were sick of the army's cynicism and lack of concern for common people. But they were brave enough to help the people during the night. And the night, as you know, is pretty horrifying in the game.
Yeah, so Aiden joins them, joins the Night Runners?
Oh, that's the question, my friend. The player will have to answer too. I won't spoil the pleasure of discovering Aiden's actions and true motivations, but what I can share with you is the fact that we really put big effort to make this character and many others complex and multidimensional. But there is so much more to be discovered during the game.
Oh, that's fascinating. Can't wait to learn more. Thank you so much, Piotr.
Thank you. Thank you.
So before we watch the gameplay trailer of Dying Light 2 for the first time, we need to talk about something which is basically at the center of the Dying Light universe, which is
the community. Over the past few years, Dying Light has amassed over 23 million players and a 95% positive review rating on Steam.
which in Steam Talk is overwhelmingly positive, so bravo.
Yeah, we'd like to take a few seconds and thank you guys.
Thank you all for being on this journey with us. Thank you for sharing your love with others of Dying Light. And thank you for these great moments spent together. Dying Light 1 has some amazingly creative fans, which is fantastic, pardon the pun, because we're going to be starting a brand new contest which will combine your love of Dying Light with that same creativity.
With the release date of Dying Light 2 drawing ever closer, we'd like to extend our hand and invite you to make the community a little bit bigger. If you find yourself skilled in the ways of visual arts, writing, or costumes and cosplay, please join the Dying Light universe.
So check out dyinglightgame.com/contest, and if you win, there's a fantastic monetary prize on the line. But also, there's some other great rewards you could be in with a chance with winning as well.
Like a Platinum Edition of Dying Light. Look at this. This is the finest edition of Dying Light ever made. This is the Platinum Edition of Dying Light. This has every bit of content ever released for Dying Light in one place. It's massive. I mean, look at it.
For those of you who haven't experienced Dying Light yet, we are introducing Dying Light 1 Platinum Edition. It's the biggest and most complete edition to have ever existed.
And we're offering it to you now at an historically low price. All the content, lowest price.
There's literally no better time to buy than now, and you can get it on Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation.
Get your Platinum Edition of Dying Light now. This is the best offer, like, ever. I guess we don't have time to go over everything that's in the Platinum Edition, but it is everything. This is how it looks. Okay, so I'm excited because you guys are, in just a second, gonna see the official gameplay trailer for Dying Light 2. And then after that, we're gonna interview some of the devs that made it possible.
So, without further ado, here it is.
Hey everyone, We've been quiet for some time, since, like the rest of the world, we had some unforeseen hurdles to clear. But the wait is over. Let's dive into the open world of Dying Light 2. The last slice of Dying Light 2 showcased the mission from the main storyline.
You get after those fuckers.
You saw how your decisions influenced the narrative and notably changed the environment. This time, we want to give you a broader look at the game and a sneak peek at some of the things we'll be talking about in upcoming months. In Dying Light 2, you become Aiden Caldwell, an outsider trying to unravel a tangled mystery from his past. Its trail leads him to the city, probably the last bastion of mankind in the world.
Oh, shit!
At first, you feel like this intense, brutal place will tear you apart. But then you meet the Night Runners, veteran survivors who help people in better days.
By the way, I'm Hakon.
You were a Night Runner. You used to help people, remember?
Night Runners are gone. Finished. A myth.
And although it's not entirely clear you can trust them, you need allies in the dark. And these are the modern Dark Ages. It's been 15 years since the apocalypse and the world has changed. The old civilization has fallen, but a new one has been built on its ashes. People fight desperately for scarce resources. Rules are broken, and weakness is punished.
She's innocent!
3 factions struggle for position in the city. Survivors pride themselves on being able to adapt to any circumstances and cobble together safe zones almost everywhere. Peacekeepers, loyal soldiers who want to impose their version of law and order and trample all in their path. Renegades, ex-prisoners serving their ruthless colonel, seeking to become sole rulers of the city.
Where is Waltz? Make him tell me.
Use these factions to reach your goal. Help or harm them to reshape the city to your liking. Just remember, each faction contains complex characters.
Nosy Parker, ain't ya? Got some kind of bad habit of yours?
So, will you follow cold calculation or your heart?
The Bazaar needs good people. Help us and you'll find a home here.
Some in the city offer no chance for an alliance. Bandits, outlaws, and common thugs live only to plunder and kill, plunging the streets into chaos. Yet, nightfall scares all of them equally. Darkness changes the rules of the world. As the light fails, monsters crawl out of hiding to prey on the poor souls caught outside the safety of UV rays. Hordes of infected pour into the streets like decaying lava. The deadly spawn of 15 years of mutation and evolution. Your only escape? Exploit the city's verticality and flee to the roofs. Though even there, you are never safe from swift and deadly virals. Or even greater threat. Yet night brings opportunity as well. Nests rife with infected during the day now lie empty. To explore them, you must tread carefully. But those brave enough to face the terrors of the night can loot a jackpot. Luckily, you have all the tools you need to survive. Your extraordinary parkour skills allow you to navigate even the most treacherous terrain. On the roofs, you can count on your parkour acrobatics to save your life. But often, you'll have to face your enemies head on. And then you have to be smart, resourceful, and determined. We've worked hard on the essence of our combat, making sure swinging a big, meaty weapon is fun, satisfying, and well executed. But even the most brutal fights can be tactical as well. You have multiple ways to hone your skills toward the gameplay style that suits you best. It's up to you if you focus mostly on mobility and parkour, or aggressive, blunt force combat, or a crafty approach where the tools you've created get the job done. Every ability you learn can be a game changer and possibly a new favorite move. Things move fast and quick in Dying Light 2. Each moment matters. Each move could mean triumph or defeat. Choose your actions and friends carefully. Everything you do in the city can reshape the gameplay environment, change the course of the narrative, and decide the fate of the city's residents. But most importantly, you decide your own fate as well.
You're about to turn.
Make sure to stay human.
An extensive post-apocalyptic world. And I really like that divisiveness, you know, the life on the roof and then death on the streets.
Yeah, like the intensity of the day and the night cycle together.
It's almost like Dying Light 2 is two different games put together into one.
Yeah, like despite that, despite all the brutality going on the ground floor, there's something about like the rooftops and the plants.
It's cozy.
Yeah, I kind of want to be there. But it does feel like every decision is vital. Like your choices actually do have some consequences.
Choices and consequences are incredibly vital to Dying Light 2's gameplay. And we're going to interview some devs and talk about some other very vital gameplay mechanics. Our next guest is Adrian Pizza-Szewski. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. And that gameplay looked awesome. I know we can't wait to get our hands on it, but congrats.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like you guys have a very unique world and a very unique game. Where y'all get your inspiration from?
Oh, that was a research. We did a deep dive into the history of our world, and we found repetitive patterns. We found that people use the same behaviors in the past after the fall of civilization or after the fall of the nation that's supposed to be a backbone of our world. So our approach was super simple. We just copycat those behaviors and attitudes and show you how our world would look like after the fall. However, it's kind of obvious that the main reason that civilization fall is virus pandemic or eventually the economical collapse. Yeah, that's basically obvious thing. But it's even darker if you connect those things with the research we did at the beginning of the production. So people will question everything. They're gonna blame everything and everyone that's supposed to guide us in our lives every day. So they're gonna blame governments, they're gonna blame law, they're gonna blame science, or even religion. Some people might ask themselves that, where was God when it happened to us, basically, you know? So I feel that all of those things together creates the sensation that it's a giant step backward for our civilization.
So Dying Light 2 has a subtitle, Stay Human. What does that mean?
Well, it's super hard to remember those values that makes us human, so like compassion or support. So the entire fall, those dark times we have is a big test for everyone. And I think it's even harder test because to stay human, people would sacrifice what's the most important for them or sometimes risk their lives.
Wow, so that's like really intense. And there's like the obvious like double meaning to it, which is what I was thinking. Stay human, don't become a zombie.
Yeah, but one disclaimer, those are not zombies, you know? Those are infected people that turn to be a monster. They're just crossing a line, you know, and they're turning to be a monster, you know? Because in Dying Light 2, we all infected. Yeah, we all wearing this biomarker. You know it, and you're wearing this. I'm wearing this. That's a watch, actually, but you know that. You know, so that's the thing. So the challenge is to not cross this line at all costs. So that's the biggest challenge of staying human in this meaning.
I see. Yeah, not zombies.
Not zombies.
Not zombies
at all.
People who've crossed the line.
Right, well, fascinating. Thank you so much, Adrian. We're definitely going to be hearing from you again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We have with us Katarzyna Tarnacka, the environmental art director.
Hi. And we have game designer Michał Duzak.
Hello. So, choices and consequences. The player has to make a choice, and they have to experience or endure the consequences. What does that mean?
Basically, the whole system of choice and consequences is really, really complex. I would say the best way to describe it is that player is making the decisions based on 3 layers. First one are the choices that you do during the main story missions. And those big changes actually can change the whole game or even how the story ends. The second layer are choices that you do while the quests. And those choices can actually influence the mission itself. And the last one, the last layer, is so-called city alignment system. And I, as an open world game designer, would like to focus on.
Please do, go on.
All right, so water and electricity are basically a key to survive in every world. By restoring it, player can not only unlock the water or electricity in the area, but he can also, based on his decision, assign it to one of the factions, which will influence how the district looks like or who's going to live inside of it. But it also, what is pretty more important for a player, unlock new tools for him, like unique tools for each factions, like car traps, zip lines, or a trampoline. That player can use in exploration to deal with bandits or infected, or simply to move faster through the city. So basically, based on your choices, you shape the game environment, which gives you a different experience every time you start a new game. And what is worth mentioning here that Dying Light 2 is playable up to 4 co-op players. So you can host the game or join other players and see how their choices came up differently to your own.
Interesting.
There's one thing I'm really curious about, though. Night versus day. How does the gameplay differ from the night and the day?
Well, the short answer is that day is for humans and night is for the monsters. But to describe it a little bit better, I would say that during the day, humans, factions, bandits, or survivors scavenging the city and searching for some scraps or someone who might have them. And this is the best time for a player to explore the city, meet its citizens, learn their stories, day-to-day agenda, or even simply help them in a quest or open world activities to survive those dark ages.
Yeah, and that sounds quite pleasant, but I'm guessing night changes everything.
Exactly, exactly. During the night, all the infected get out of the buildings. And compared to the Dying Light 1, the night is going to be even more intense this time. Intense in terms of the amount of enemies, their new types, and new, more aggressive behaviors. And what is important, this time night can mean also opportunity. An opportunity for the players who are courage and skilled enough to use the fact that all the infected are outside and buildings are accessible to explore them and search for the most valuable loot in the game.
Katarzyna, you're responsible for the post-apocalyptic look of the city. Can you tell us a little bit how about the city became to look that way?
Yes. I guess the important thing to realize is in 2025, a decision was made to use a chemical attack to stop the spread of the Harran virus. And the result is a tight ring of chemically active areas around the city. Some of the chemicals have gotten into the groundwater and spread under the surface, killing every living plant and every living thing in its reach. What it means for the city is that the street levels are virtually dead. The soil is unable to sustain any life, any plant, and the street level is a domain of the monsters, just decaying in every aspect.
Wow, so it sounds like there's just no healthy organic life down there at all.
Not really. The survival on the street level is pretty tough. So the common people are just visitors there. But the life prevailed. It moved up to the rooftops. And this is where the plants are flourishing and blooming in the post-apocalyptic landscape. And this is where people build and develop the new world of Dying Light 2, electricity producing windmills and safe zones for the player. And in a way, in a metaphorical sense, the rooftops are the new default ground floor, the level 0, and trip to the streets is, in a way, a trip underground, a -1 of sorts, just the corpse of a lost civilization.
Yeah, to say the least. I can't imagine being a citizen living in that city, let alone being a player, and how challenging that's going to be.
Yeah, and hold that thought. Thank you very much for joining us today, but it's now time to introduce our next guests.
With us now are Bartosz and Peter. And guys, I have one question about the open world in Dying Light 2. How big is it?
It's pretty big.
We know that. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Yes, of course. The map in Dying Light 2 is divided into 2 huge regions and several zones.
Okay.
There are plenty leftovers from the lost civilization for you to scavenge. But we didn't want our players to perceive the map only horizontally, so we see the map as a multi-level 3D world that supports your traversal and helps you solve parkour puzzles.
Yes, in-house we call it multi-layer open world exploration. And you know, the movement system from Dying Light 1, we remove every restriction from the player. You can move everywhere you want, how you want to do it. And when I think about it, I think that was a big challenge for us to create the geometry that supports all of that. And we did it, and I think we did it well. Doing the same thing in Dying Light 2 wasn't our goal. We want to make one or more step forward to surprise the player expectation. That's why we doubled the number of parkour moves.
Doubled. And I mean, it's not like there was a shortage in Dying Light 1, so what?
Yes, the iconic Dying Light 1 parkour is essential there. We improve it. We double the number of parkour moves. The players will see over 3,000 different parkour animations. Wow. From the basic move, through the tricks, to the small little tasty details there that you can see it.
Okay, well, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to stop you there, but don't hate me because in the next episode, we're gonna be talking more about parkour and how the team have managed to make an authentic urban running experience in Dying Light 2.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for the information. Bartosz, Peter, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so the last and arguably the most important question I'm sure you have is, when is the release date?
Yeah, that is a very, 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 very important question.
And luckily, we have the answer. And that answer is the 7th of December.
Waited years to say that out loud. And now that we know the release date of the game, it's time for you to go pre-order it. Go to dyinglight.com/pre-order, select your platform, and then hit pre-order. And there you go. Congratulations. You just pre-ordered one of the most anticipated games of this year. Go you. Oh, wow. I want one.
Well, I've got good news for you then, because this official figurine is part of the collector's edition of Dying Light 2, and you can get one for yourself if you want. We'll leave like a proper unboxing of the whole set to the professionals, but we do have it all in front of us right now, so it'd be rude not to take a look. You get, in the collector's edition, a concept art book full of stunning artwork from the game. You get this steel book, which will have your game inside it, of course. And you get this interesting little sort of UV flashlight, so yeah.
Cool. It looks like there's all sorts of vanity elements in here too, like some legendary skin packs, as well as all sorts of digital elements. For more information on these digital elements, please visit the pre-order website. I want this, and I want Dying Light 2.
Kind of thought you'd say that. Well, if you're feeling the same way, then I've got good news, because you can pre-order the collector's edition. However, it is very, very limited, so you'll have to be very quick.
Rest assured, there will be plenty of the standard edition for your standard gamer, but if you're into special editions, there is a deluxe edition of Dying Light 2 with a steel book, legendary pack, and a digital soundtrack, and much, much more.
So to summarize, that's 3 different editions that you can buy depending on what you're after. And if you just can't wait until release to get immersed in the world of Dying Light 2, then why don't you go check out the Techland Gamers and Goodies website for more info.
Yeah, this is a program for all gamers, whether or not you want updates on Dying Light 2 with the news, or you want Dying Light 2 items in Dying Light 1. Everyone's gonna find something they like there.
Yep, and this is just an initial offering as well. Check back later for even more details, more information, and we'll be going through it in future episodes as well.
That's it.
Don't forget to pre-order the game and take part in our contests. The details are on the game's website.
And here's a sneak peek at the topic of the next episode. Thank you for watching, and stay safe out there. Bye.
See ya.
All right, they dropped a lot on us there, seeing how it's half an hour. I think the biggest thing was, God, that's difficult. They really put a lot of emphasis on they're not zombies, they're infected, which hints at a cure possibly, but at the same time, you know, not exactly feasible anymore. I hope that I can't wait to get hands on this. I just, the open world is something that, you know, it's something that I just, like, I orgasm over, because I love open world sandbox games. You know, now that I think about it, volatile wise, I think we have, wait, let's see, we had what looked like, one that signals others, the standard, the tree branch creepy guy, the long ass fingered one, let's see if I can find it. Because, seriously, that one is very unnerving.
And evolution.
Oh, this one. I know it's not a volatile, but it looks like a demolisher mixed with a goon. And the goons were the ones that had, like, the construction suits on, and they'd slam the giant sledgehammers. This one. Ooh. This one... God, I actually just got goosebumps. This one reminds me of a witch from Left 4 Dead, and if you know what I'm talking about, you'll understand why it's creepy. Just, oh my god, those hands, and this has to be like an instant kill or like a 2-shot. This one looks like a screamer, but then you have this one which actually does scream, but it looks like it's alerting all the zombies around it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We have at least 5 different volatiles that we know of now, and that's just for 4 videos. So arguably an hour and a half. So let's see, 30, 40, 50. About 80 minutes worth of, you know, them talking about it. And, you know, just, seriously though, this one is just, yeah, this has to be almost exactly like a witch. Those bands are, it looks like actually, this one might be, just because of the environment, I want to say it's like the GRE, because you know the GRE is going to try and fuck everything up, as they normally do. They were doing like genetic testing with the virus and everything, and created this god awful abomination that's going to terrify me. Okay, let's skip to something cooler, like that. That's cool. So yeah, let's go into the next one. The official gameplay trailer, which came out of May 27th, 2021, this current year. Also, the game comes out December 7th, a day before my birthday. So, just, yeah, hell yeah. So I'm gonna shut up, and we're gonna watch the video.
Hey everyone, we've been quiet for some time, Since, like the rest of the world, we had some unforeseen hurdles to clear.
I believe this is actually the same
But
thing.
the wait is over.
So I'm not even gonna mute
Let's
my mic.
dive into the open world of Dying Light 2. The last slice of Dying Light 2 showcased the mission from the main storyline.
You get after those fuckers.
You saw how your decisions influenced the narrative and notably changed the environment.
Right, we got the weird, sticky, evil
This time,
one.
we want to give you a broader look
Whoa,
at the game.
hold on.
This time,
Okay, so they said that we should be able to go wherever we want. I mean, I'm assuming that those mountains are like gameplay limits or background scenery, but supposedly we should be able to hit the top of that skyscraper right there, which looks phenomenal. Like, they said it was almost 7 square kilometers. Oh my god. This is gonna be fucking awesome.
we want to give you a broader look at the game and a sneak peek at some of the things we'll be talking about in upcoming months. In Dying Light 2, you become Aiden Caldwell, an outsider trying to unravel a tangled mystery from his past. Its trail leads him to the city, probably the last bastion of mankind in the world.
Shit!
At first, you feel like this intense, brutal place will tear you apart. But
Probably
then you
because
meet
it
the
will.
Night Runners, veteran survivors who help people
Okay,
in better days.
so let's just skip ahead.
Is punished.
She's innocent.
So, will you follow Cole's
Peacekeepers.
monsters,
At
years
night. This creepy ass motherfucker.
and evolution? Safe from swift
The
and deadly
Doom.
virals.
Virals, I like them change. It seems like there's actually a lot of variation between them.
Or even greater threat.
God, you know what? I want to watch that naturally.
Or even there, you are never safe from swift and deadly virals. Or even greater threat.
There's just that growl, the way the jaw splits open. It's just the dead, cold white eyes. The bleached skin that's decaying. Just God, I can't wait to see how this guy fucks me up. Oh yeah, then we have the chemicals that have been so carefully contained. Then we have this GRE crate, which battery low. Then Aiden injects himself with something.
Luckily, you have all the tools
I would
you need
stop
to
in the
survive.
middle of this on that platform he was getting ready to jump onto, and I'd just look around.
Your extraordinary parkour skills allow you to
I need to get a
navigate even the most
3060 so
treacherous
bad.
terrain.
Ooh, that's a good talking point too. The jump pad right there. Or I guess it's just a trampoline, but that is such a cool idea that like it's so simple that it's like it's just cool. It's probably sounds like such a stupid thing coming from me saying it's cool, but just like it's just something that enhances the movement. That's such a simple idea, and like you see the other zip lines go into buildings, and they're probably just cables that you could probably grab onto or something. And just watch him jump over this gap that you'd probably have to climb on the wall or something. Slides under. He could probably slide or jump.
The roofs, you can count on your parkour acrobatics to save your life.
The ragdolls look great. Let's just go back a couple seconds.
You can count on.
You know, a drop kick, great. Just like be up there. One person running along here. You are running along this. There's another person. So you got all 4 players. Just on
your parkour acrobatics to save your life.
Ooh.
But even the most
combat.
brutal fights can be
two-handed weapons, single-handed weapons, the grappling hook, dismemberment in battle.
That suits you best.
Just
it's up to you if you focus mostly.
This is a cool concept to me. Having 2 just knuckle dusters made out of what I'm assuming is probably an engine chain or something, and just you just start clocking bitches.
On mobility and parkour, or aggressive blunt force combat, or a crafty approach where the tools you've created
javelin,
every ability
throwing knives that are good, Molotovs, not surprised, the shotgun here. You know what? I want to get that in slow motion. No, I don't want fucking subtitles.
And possibly a new favorite move.
There's just something that I like. Just God, that's terrible. Just the head's cutting off so smooth.
And
possibly a new move. There's an angel in the background holding a horseshoe, it looks like. It's probably a harp, but it looks like a horseshoe right now.
Favorite.
Look at that. $41. Slightly back. 40. Just
a new favorite.
That is literally just a black powder pistol. Which wouldn't be that difficult to actually make. Just look at that though. Oh, that's so good. Okay, normal. And it literally knocks him off his fucking feet and he just goes away. Oh, it's so good. Okay, Dying to Know, episode 2. Let's go ahead and get into this and I'll shut up.
Please select your floor.
Go already.
Recon. Be careful. Looks clear.
To the second episode of Dying to Know. If you missed the first episode, you can still catch it on YouTube, where you'll learn more about the game, about the release date, and catch the latest gameplay trailer. Today, we're going to be talking about the infected in Dying Light 2 with some of the people who helped create them. But right now, I'm sure you're wondering, where is Jonah? Well, Jonah is hard at work right now in LA recording some of the voices for Dying Light 2, so we'll forgive him for his absence. But he has left a message for you.
Hey guys, good news. I'm in LA and we're finishing up voice recordings for Aiden in Dying Light 2, and this particular quest we're working on right now showcases a lot of the disgusting, horrific freaks of nature that you're gonna fight in the game itself. The better news is that the episode today of Dying to Know focuses almost entirely on those monsters, and Leia is gonna tell you all about them, and it's gonna be fantastic. The bad news is I'm not going to be there in the studio, at least this time. I'm going to be in this studio recording lines for a while. But Leia's going to take good care of you. We're going to make sure that you get everything you need to know. And I think I got to go back to work. Leia, the stage is yours. Good night. Good luck. And remember to stay human.
Thanks, Jonah. Well, we might not be in sunny LA right now, but we do have something just as exciting to talk about. The monsters. We're going to be looking at how they're created. We're going to be venturing into the night in a new gameplay trailer. We're going to be seeing what's new on Techland GG and more. But first, let's take a moment to thank our amazing community. You. We love seeing you react to our content, and your comments help motivate the entire team. So thank you. Over 750,000 of you tuned in to the first Dying to Know live stream. Over 10 million of you have watched the first gameplay reveal trailer, and over 17 million comments have been left across our social media channels on all platforms. It's amazing. Thank you. There is literally nobody we would rather explore the darkness alongside than you. Our first guest today is Timon Smektauer, the lead game designer for Dying Light 2 Stay Human. Hello, Timon.
Hi, hello.
Hello, welcome to the show. So we're talking about monsters today, and where do monsters start? They start in the imagination of the game designers like yourself and the others. So what can you tell us about them?
So first of all, I think it's important to say that our monsters used to be sick and suffering people who just didn't manage to find UV light or any other cure in time. The virus causes them a lot of pain and it makes them suffer. And they are not driven by hatred, but by instinct, their new nature.
Right, okay, so what does that process look like for turning from a human to a monster?
So at first, you get symptoms similar to fever. And at this stage, the process can still be slowed down or even paused. But if you spend too much time in darkness, the sickness progresses and your symptoms become more severe. And eventually, you will turn into a volatile, a quick, agile, aggressive, bloodthirsty monster.
Right, and if it gets to that point, is there anything you can do? Is it reversible?
Well, unfortunately, once you have turned, there's no way to revert it. And now the UV light becomes your enemy, so if you spend too much time in the sun, you will degrade into a slow-moving and shambling biter.
So with that sun sensitivity then, so it's fair to say you're kind of safe outside in the daylight, apart from the biters?
Well, yes and no. Of course, you will see less monsters on the streets than during the night, but you will still encounter some. As the sun weakens them, they try to find a place to hide, usually inside buildings.
Okay.
But don't go into those nests at day, as they are swarming with the infected.
Right, okay. So, I mean, if I fancy going in during the day for some reason, is there any chance?
No, absolutely no. So, because if you do it during the day, it's a certain death.
Right.
But you can explore those places at night.
Okay.
And because of that, we have greatly improved our stealth mechanics, so now you can go to the entire dark zone completely unnoticed. That is, as long as you stay quiet and don't misstep.
Right, okay, which is like my kryptonite, because I will absolutely kick a bucket back.
No, absolutely, don't do that. Never do that. Never kick the bucket, no.
You're dying. And not only that, but you can encounter other special infected as well. So can you tell us a little bit about those?
Absolutely. So they were created by chemicals that made the infection progress too fast, causing mutations. So sometimes when you stay quiet, sneak behind them and observe them, you will see that they seem to be uncomfortable in their new bodies, as if they didn't have time to get used to them.
Wow, okay. And they're all like quite unique and different as well, aren't they?
Well, yes, everyone is unique. And for example, the Revenant, who's my personal favorite, he has those things coming from his back, almost like wings. He's very scary, very dangerous, but also smart and intelligent. And to capture this part of his nature, we have kept his appearance more human.
I think smart and intelligent are two of my least favorite things when encountering an enemy that sounds that scary. Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Timon.
Thank you for having me.
And now, why don't we take a sneak peek at some of those monsters in action in this brand new gameplay video.
So, you have an army here?
The Peacekeepers. Seriously riling up the Bazaar folks.
I'll proceed with caution. Are we going? You wanted to show me something?
Sure. Follow me. get far without a biomarker. Without it, you don't know when you turn. Biomarkers are at the GRE hospital. I'm waiting by the lobby.
Sleeping Beauties.
Yeah, we have to walk past them. If you crouch and move slowly, they shouldn't notice you. Get too close, and you're done for.
What is that?
Chemicals. Nasty shit. GRE doused the whole hospital with it. Along with the patients and staff. We wanted to stop the infection at all costs. Worked out great for that.
We got company here.
Yeah, that's great. Sorry about this.
What? Sorry about what?
About that. On behalf of all its whores, bandits, and idiots, I christen you a citizen of Villedor. Fuck. You're about to turn. Get into the light fast.
Wild. And if you want to see how the creatures we've just seen were created, Kasia Bech, the lead character concept artist, and Dominik Vashenko, the lead 3D character artist, are here to tell us more. welcome to the show.
Hi. Hello.
Hello. So my first question for you today is, how did you come up with all of the forms and shapes for the monsters in the game?
Yeah, so first we had to create a general idea of how virus could evolve visually.
Okay.
We used elements from various skin diseases, like hardened tissue working as organic armor, blisters filled with yellow pus as weak points, and some burned skin scars to create interesting texture on the skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, we have Demolisher and his blisters. They shine at night. And that's because we wanted our monsters to be really visible and recognizable in the darkness.
Yeah, for sure. And you kind of must have had this idea from the start then that you wanted the Demolisher to be the bigger and tougher of the monsters, right?
Yeah, we knew that he would throw heavy objects or charge, and our goal was to make his silhouette really monumental and aggressive, just to show that strength.
Okay, so the Demolisher is probably one of the bigger monsters in the game. But have you got an example of the smaller monsters, maybe?
Yes, of course. For example, we have Banshee. She's insanely fast and agile. Because of that, she needs to be, of course, smaller than the Demolisher, and she doesn't have the hardened tissue that we saw on him. But I wouldn't mess with her.
Yeah, we really wanted her femininity to show. So she's wearing a dress, though it's pretty ragged now. And also she's wearing jewelry that's fused into her body while she was turning. And her hands grew larger than the rest of her body. Almost same like in Demolishers, but here the disproportion is much bigger.
Wow, yeah, no, I feel like there's a story behind that with the jewelry fusing to the body. That's so intense. But why are her hands so big?
Basically, they are her weapons. So, yeah, because she strikes from above, her fingers grow longer and also sharper to cut, not to hit, because due to her lower strength.
Yeah, she's going for the kill then. She knows.
Exactly.
So does that mean we can be expecting Banshee to jump from the roof down on us?
Yes, she's so fast and agile that she might surprise the player by striking them midair.
Wow.
So, yeah, something that no other monster can do.
No. Okay, yeah, can't see the Demolisher doing that. Just splat. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing more about the process of design. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, if you like stories, we've got a bit of a treat for you. When it gets dark at night and the monsters leave their lairs and roam the city streets, the residents of the city like to gather in their safe spots under the UV lamps for protection and wait out until the dawn. And when they're doing that, they like to kill time by telling stories themselves about Banshee, for example. If you're wondering why she's wearing that beautiful necklace and ball gown, well, now you can find out. Techland have partnered with Dynamite to create a comic series, and this is just a teaser of what to expect. You can get a physical copy yourself in stores soon, but if you head to techlandgg.com, you can also get a digital version for free. And also on Techland GG, there is plenty more content. You can find a brand new starter pack, more information about the monsters. You can get a 6-piece outfit coming very, very soon. More information about the game entirely, the Dying to Know shows, basically everything. So why don't you check it out for yourself at techlandgg.com. I feel like I know quite a lot about monsters now, but if there's one thing that intrigues me, it's how do you make something so inhuman and terrifying come to life in-game? Luckily, we have the one person who can answer that question here with us today. It's Dying Light 2's animation director, David Lubrica, and he's here to tell us more. Welcome, David.
Hello, welcome.
Hello. So you work with the animation team in taking all that concept art and bringing it to life and having like an actual living, breathing monster in the game. So where do you even start with that?
So the process starts with creating a prototype and then designing choreography based on this. Then we take it to the mock-up shoot, and that's where we have our actors interpret the movements, and we actually learn from them also. That gives us some extra ideas. But the real magic happens when we take all the things we captured and start putting it into the engine and into the game's language.
Okay, can you give us an example of that in game?
Sure, like Volatile, for example. So he sniffs around, he searches for his prey, he has those cat-like jumps. But many of those movements are actually characteristics of the creatures we know from animal documentaries. And he combines them with some new ones and unique ones, and that's what makes him who he actually is.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to be like in game. I'm going to be searching him out and trying to see all these little details you've made, which is probably not the best idea because I think that will get me killed.
Right. Yeah, with him it's not the best idea. But we have other infected, and all of them actually have very, very distinctive and interesting behaviors.
Okay, so you're giving them all like unique personalities in game.
Sure. So let's take a look at Howler, for example. He doesn't fight. He's more of an alarm, like this light tower, searching for prey. He screams to call other infected when he spots human, but also he sometimes rises on his tiptoes to see better, to see his surroundings, but that also makes him look like this very scared, panic child.
Why is he so scared?
Well, it's because there are some traces of his humanity in him. He really wants to scream, but the virus has attacked his lungs and vocal cords, and that would just hurt him too much. He's helpless.
But they all just lose this fight with their instincts then at some point.
Totally. Actually, they rather evoke pity. You can see that they can notice the deformations the virus has done to their bodies. They can touch them. They can experience something like seizures. And you can see that all this aggression, all this rage is repressed in them. Something might trigger it, and that's usually an opponent. And you can see that all this energy is released and transferred on the opponent, on the player, for example, us.
I can't wait to see that in game. But I want to talk about Banshee because we mentioned her earlier. We've seen how she looks, but how is she animated?
She's a curious one. She has those really long deformed fingers, and she uses them to fight, but kind of like a byproduct. And we had to imagine how she would feel about them. And we thought they must really bother her, right?
Yeah.
She can get really clumsy with them. She falls on them in this very uncontrolled way, as if she was forgetting she had them.
So it's a bit of a curse and an asset for her then. She's like conflicted.
Totally. She's really conflicted. You can actually see her sometimes actively hunting you. And then at some point, if she gets too close to you during combat, she'll just suddenly jump back and cower, as if she was trying to resist the virus, but ultimately she would just give in to its power.
Wow, this has been fascinating. Thank you so much, David.
Thanks for having me.
If you've ever wondered which of the infected in the world of Dying Light you might be, then I've got good news. You can check out a quiz at dyinglightgame.com/witchmonster and find out whether you'd be, I don't know, a violent volatile, a tough demolisher, or maybe a human. Take the test and share it with your friends because, you need allies out here in the darkness, even if you're an infected, or maybe especially if you're an infected. And if you can't wait until December the 7th to find out more about the world of Dying Light, why not check out what's been added to Dying Light 1? Within the last month, over 500,000 new players have entered the world of Dying Light, and we've had the highest number of active players across all platforms since launch, which is amazing. You are amazing. Thank you so much for your support and your interest in the world of Dying Light. More and more fun content is on the way to Dying Light 1 also, like the Savvy Gamer DLC or the 4th of July event. And if you head to Techland GG, you could get your hands on this in-game weapon, the Wasp. So, why not check out Techland GG? As if you needed more reason to. More and more fun content is added to the game regularly, so keep checking it out with more coming soon. All right, well, since Dying to Know is about the world of Dying Light 2, there's still something else we need to hear about, if you pardon the pun, because we're going to be talking about the sound design of Dying Light 2. If you've ever wondered about where the roaring, the growling, the screaming that covers the streets of the city at night comes from, then you're in the right place, because we're going to be talking to one of the lead sound designers to tell you more. Senior sound designer Tomek Shedak is here with us today. Hello.
Hey, nice to meet you.
You too, hello. So, first question. Do the monsters have their own language?
They technically are not herd creatures, so they didn't develop sounds to communicate with each other, although there are some exceptions. For example, Howler, when attacked, he would scream to alert other infected, and then you can get yourself into really big troubles very soon.
Let's talk about the process of actually creating those sounds, though. So you have to imagine what a volatile might sound like from scratch, and where do you even start with that?
Well, you know, the virus deformed the infected in very different ways, and you have to reflect it in their voices. So, for example, the acid-spitting monster, you know, has to have sound with some kind of acidic characteristics, some watery, hissing stuff in it. And there is the Banshee, a woman monster, and her voice is high-pitched and vibrating and really scary.
So you work alongside your twin brother Wojtek, and he also records a lot of the sounds that you use to create these monsters, and we actually have a video of that process, so we can have a closer look at what that entails.
Yeah, so now you can see how it works. We always start with the human throat because all of the infected were humans once.
Yeah.
And then the creative part is coming and a lot of sound design magic is happening. Also, we have to cover a lot of emotions in the infected voices.
Yeah.
Because you have to know, I mean, the player has to know if the infected is in pain or is super aggressive or is maybe dying. You have to pass this message through the voice, and the message has to be very clear. So basic monster like a biter has 700 voice assets, so the scale is it's enormous.
Yeah, that's a lot to try and communicate in sounds. So that's the monsters, but what about the entire city?
Our city is dying, so we had to find these abandoned places where there is no sound of the civilization. We visited abandoned factories, we visited post-military bunkers. We went to the forest at minus 15 degrees because it sounds completely different than in the summer, and we climbed up the mountains. It was a lot of interesting places we wouldn't visit without Dying Light 2. And you know, at night with the good headphones, you can definitely enjoy it.
I cannot wait to hear it. It sounds like you've got a fascinating job.
I agree.
Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
And you can check out the hard work of the Shedak brothers and their teams when Dying Light 2 releases on December the 7th. You can become a part of that amazing universe. Remember the UGC contest? It's already started, so just show us your art to be in with a chance of winning a copy of the already sold out collector's edition and join the world of Dying Light 2. Just look at all the amazing things people have already created. Dying Light 2 releases later this year on December the 7th, and you can pre-order it right now. But if you want to dive into the universe immediately, then why don't you check out Techland GG for more news, updates, and to grab your free copy of the Banshee comic. All right, I think we know everything about monsters now, except for one thing. How to defeat them. So stay tuned for the next episode. We'll be looking at different combat styles, weapon crafting, and the iconic Dying Light 2 parkour, which was designed in cooperation with this man.
The way. I'm Hakon.
Yeah?
You'll do
Wait,
better
what?
on your own. Trust me.
Thanks for watching episode 2 of Dying to Know. And remember, the virus isn't the only thing that makes a monster. So stay human.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack. First things first. Was it at the very beginning, actually? Yes, it was. Okay. So.
Be careful. Looks clear.
New bombers. And just oh my god, that the sound. I wish I could isolate that sound. Just listen closely.
Be careful. Looks clear.
It's literally just a boomer from like it sounds like, you know, I bet they did like choking on water or something for that sound. Is that what was it? The Banshee, the Revenant is the tree thing. The volatile with the things coming out of its back. Banshee. So yeah, the normal volatile, the Screamer, I think they called it.
But we have other infected, and all of them actually have very, very distinctive and interesting behaviors.
Okay, so you're giving them all like unique personalities in game.
Sure. So
Come on.
let's take a look at Howler, for example.
Howler. Okay. And it reminds me of the Predator, if you know what I mean. So Bomber, Howler, Revenant, Volatile, Banshee. God. Okay, and the Banshee. Oh God, just imagine you're just jumping from building to building out of nowhere. You just get Hulk Hogan, pile driver, or whatever. I don't know. Some just And what was that? Dying Light slash what monster? Yeah,
You know, you need allies out here in the monster, and find out whether you'd be, I don't know, a monster.
come on.
If you've ever wondered which of the infected in the world of Dying Light you might be, then I've got good news. You can check out a quiz at dyinglightgame.com/.
Okay, I want to check that out at the end. So, oh, the monster gameplay trailer. I think they already showed us this, but I'll talk over this one.
Army here?
The Peacekeepers. Seriously riling up the Bazaar folks.
I'll proceed with caution.
So, you're Hakon.
You wanted to show me something?
Sure. Follow me.
You won't get far without the biomarker.
So that's the wristwatch thing. I just imagine like getting like something busting through the boards there. That was a weird transition. So yeah, zip lines all around the map, probably. Sound like a lady screaming.
Biomarkers are at the GRE hospital. I'm waiting by the lobby.
And the Sleeping Beauties. These are gonna be a cool thing, especially post-game content and
We have to walk past them. If you crouch and move slowly, they shouldn't notice you.
Oh, how's that gonna work on PC? Because I mean, it's not exactly easy to fluidly control your movement.
What is that? Chemicals. Nasty shit. Giori doused the whole hospital with it. Along with the patients and staff.
That looks like a viral. That looks like a crate that we could loot right there. More sleeping goons. That looks like a goon. Howler? Or no. What is that? I don't think they've named it yet. That's a viral. Or is no, that's a banshee. Yeah, I would keep that closed.
We got company here.
Ooh. The volatile looks like it's missing part of its back. Like it's got reverse ribs. Jesus Christ. That volatile's going after something. Probably just a normal biter. Also, you're going to where that volatile was.
Yeah, that's great. Sorry about this.
What? Sorry about what?
About that. On behalf of all its whores, bandits, and idiots, I christen you a citizen of Villedor. You're about to turn. Get into the light fast.
Wouldn't one of those UV flares be, you know, he probably doesn't have one. So it looks like you got a pretty good grace period. Here comes the volatile. It's really gonna fuck you up. Ooh, you could almost hear him. You could hear him start turning. Here comes the volatile. Ooh. God, that noise. It sounds older, if you know what it like. It's a bad way to put it. It sounds aged, I guess, is probably the more proper term. So the moral of the story is don't let your vitamin D deficiency get too out of hand. First 5 hours of Dying Light 1. Oh god, run! We have your level 15 combat. It's neck twisting, face smashing, knee capping, arrow cushion, head, cheese, greater abstract wall art, peanut butter, jelly time, run, bitches run. Oh god, this is... Oh, I can't... Okay, so this is... Thank god we got a quick one here. But there's so many new... different types of enemy. So good. I will shut up so we can quickly watch this video.
Sometimes I wonder what this city looked like before all this. Probably like many others. People had their ambitions, plans, lives. Now it's all gone. The virus started it, but it was the people who made the world the way it is. This city, Villedor. They tell me they had a vision. They had hope. But soon, one vision broke into many different ones. Instead of fighting together, people stood against each other. War broke out.
Was it a little bird met a broken leg?
Hope died. Now the city is falling.
Each time we strike down an enemy, we absorb their strength.
But I can't let that happen. At least, not yet. I need the secrets this city holds.
Fuck! Hey! Still some rats here!
I have to pick a side.
The Bazaar needs good people.
You're doing great so far.
I have to make a difference.
Let's check and see.
They say that great change is a series of small gestures. How about this series? Is all hope really gone? We'll see about that.
Okay, that was pretty quick. Nothing's too fancy, I guess. You know, good old-fashioned
They tell me they had a
soda and burgers. You know, my favorite restaurant. Okay, now we have okay, we have another Dying to Know. Then we have two audio stories, which I'm interested in because I haven't actually listened to these. So yeah, I know I'm gonna leave it like this. So I'm just gonna mute my mic and we're gonna listen.
Today, I've begun to appreciate the bishops who so fervently encouraged us to go to church. Church is your anchor, church is your shelter, they say. I think they'd be proud to see all those masses of people I'm looking at now. The church is literally bursting at the seams. Yes, today, I'll find my longed-for peace here. Not for prayer, though. No, far from it. I'll soothe myself with the sight of a large massive door no force could break, and the narrow Gothic windows through which no monster could squeeze. Yes, today I'm going to rest here. Amen. I'll just need to find some bunk bed. But that shouldn't be a problem. There are hundreds of them. I'm looking for a messy one because there's a bigger chance it belonged to someone who's not coming back. Not today, not ever.
Been here before, Pilgrim?
A young voice speaks to me from the darkness. After a while, in the light of a UV bulb, a boy appears. I can't really tell his age. Judging by his voice, I'd say he's 15, but he looks much, much older. Life in the city dates even children. No, I haven't. It's my first night here.
The first and the last?
I'd like to stay here for a few nights. This bed's free.
This one? Yes.
I came to the right place. Thank you. Good night. It was clear the boy still wanted to ask about something else, but I was too tired already. A comfy bed with a pillow. It was the most beautiful thing I've seen for days.
Do you believe in superstitions, Pilgrim?
So he wants to talk after all. Damn it. I don't believe in anything anymore. Superstitions included.
That's bad. Unhealthy. I do believe, and you, Pilgrim, remember your dream. The first one in a new place is a prophecy.
Drop it, buddy. I don't dream.
Today, you will. I even know about what.
How could you know?
Let's bet.
On a dream? That's a good one. You're going to guess what I was dreaming about, and I'm supposed to give you something, yeah? What would you like, boy?
You've got a nice ex. I bet I'll guess your dream in the morning, and...
Juan.
An old hoarse voice chimed in from an adjacent bunk.
Juan, I told you to stop conning people.
This time an old lady emerged from the darkness. More like Juan's grandma than his mother.
I'm sorry. He's always like that with newcomers.
What's that magic with guessing dreams?
It's no magic, just a simple sham. Everyone in the whole church has the same dream. So what could you dream about, Pilgrim? Juan cons somebody from time to time, but one doesn't lie to a pilgrim. Not under my roof.
I think you're conning me now, Grandma. Same dream, everyone. But I'm intrigued. Fine. Let's bet, but on my terms. Tell me what I'm going to dream about, and we'll settle it in the morning, all right?
All right.
The old lady agreed rather quickly. Too quickly. Go on then. It's been some time since I've heard the bedtime story. I stretched out comfortably on what might have been an elegant carpet once. I closed my eyes, and I was all ears. Go on, come on. I don't have the whole night.
You tell it, Grandma. You do it better.
With a dream, it all began when Rosemary disappeared. She was a good girl. Had her whole life ahead of her. Nice, pretty, kind. It's really sad what happened. She used to sleep on the bunk you chose, Pilgrim. Every newcomer chooses that one anyway. There are so many other free ones here, better and larger, but everyone who comes here is drawn to that one, as if she was calling you there. Curious, isn't it?
The old lady paused so that I could say something, I suppose. But what's there to say? A bunk like any other, and so was the story. Many good people died in the city, and even more will die. Most likely some are dying right now. I'm nodding off, Grandma. Tell that story.
Her parents got lost somewhere on the day of the first military air raids. Some say they died, some that they turned into monsters. What does it matter anyway? It comes down to the same thing. Rosemary was all alone in this world. Though you'll learn in a moment that not really. The worst thing was, she blamed herself for her parents' death. That day, she wanted to stay home with friends and asked her parents to take a walk. They went to the plaza where the air raid struck the most. It really got her down. She looked terrible when she got here. But with each passing day, she got better and started to put her life back together. And then she met that boy, Neil. They were inseparable, holding hands until a year went by. On the first anniversary of her parents' disappearance, she dreamed about her mother. In that dream, she told Rosemary she needed her, that she was waiting for her, and that her dad was somewhere there too. Rosemary told everyone about it. Apparently, the dream was so realistic you could tell the place where it happened. Do you know that gray storehouse in Region 1?
Sure, but it's swarming with monsters.
And this was the part Rosie didn't tell us about. One day, she went there with Neil to look for her mother. But only she came back. It's been said that the floorboards underneath collapsed, and the boy fell into a dark zone with no chance of getting help. Rosemary returned trembling and asked some lads to go with her to rescue Neil, but she came back alone again. The third time, no one wanted to go with her. In fact, no one even wanted to talk to her after all that. She was sitting on that bed for days, until one evening, when she just got up and left.
In my dream, what will I dream about? I asked after a moment of silence.
About her, in a beautiful long dress, her hair falling over her shoulders. She'll be standing in the middle of a large storehouse, surrounded by decaying monsters. Sometimes she speaks, but it's too quiet to understand. Sometimes she simply waves her hand, asking you to join her. Then, she'll emit that gurgle shrill people without the larynx make, grab the monster by the hand and start walking in your direction. That's about the first night. On the second night, you'll dream about her whispering something into your ear. I don't know what, because after that, people leave without a word and never come back.
The old lady made a dramatic pause. She was good at storytelling, that for sure. I wonder how many people...
Well, but you must be tired, Pilgrim. And I'm boring you with tales you don't believe anyway. Good night.
I wanted to add something, say some witty joke, but by the time my thoughts returned from the dark world of the old lady's story, neither she nor Juan were there anymore. I went to sleep, a bit less confident than before. I even wanted to change beds, but all the other ones were taken already. It was a long day. I don't even remember when I dropped off. In the morning, I got up before everyone else and left without a goodbye. Pity I won't see their faces when they find my axe on the pillow. He won that damn bad, boy.
Okay, that was a good one. I really like good, like great audio story. I feel like that was about the Banshee, or maybe it was the Howler. I don't know. I feel like they went too in depth for it to be the Howler, so I'm assuming that was a like backstory to the Banshee or something. We have the Dino More number 3, and I'm just gonna go ahead and tap subtitles on for that one. Almost over, thank God. So yeah, I'm gonna shut up again.
Didn't get enough of parkour and combat in the last episode of Dying to Know? Neither did we, and that's why we are here. My name is Timon Smektawa, lead game designer.
And I'm Cornelius Kua, senior producer. Ready to learn more about parkour, combat, and crafting in Dying Light 2?
Stay with us. Okay, so let's get down to business. Is Dying Light 2 Stay Human more about combat or survival?
It's not an easy answer. So player can go for tactics, stealth, parkour, not only combat and survival. So the options are numerous, and they can create or shape the environment to their liking, or in some situations even avoid the fights at all.
Exactly. Dying Light 2 is such a broad and multifaceted game that everyone will find their own way of achieving things. But for sure, this is not a typical survival game where you manage food and resources and build shelters.
No, it's not.
But this is not completely off the table, because we might think about it post-launch. But right now, there are so many options, it's really hard to pinpoint one thing that Dying Light 2 focuses on, right?
It's hard, yes, but the best option is that you can combine those elements in the game.
An example?
We added many parkour skills, and some of them are combat specific. The most interesting would be the ability to stagger an enemy and use his body to your advantage. So you can create a situations when you jump on a foe, rebound from him, and kick another one. Or when you finish the whole situations with the powerful ground pound.
And that's something that really changes the flow and feel of combat, especially that it's actually quite easy to pull off, even for the players that don't have much experience in action games. But how does it work exactly, those complex sequences? Are those like tricks, scripted animations?
Like in the extreme sport games?
Exactly.
No. Player can do everything themselves. And with enough creativity, I believe all of the players will be able to master parkour in the game. And they will be able to create sequences that will wow anyone watching.
Can they, for example, land a paraglider with a roll, then do a wall run, then another wall run, then maybe use a grappling hook to swing to the next rooftop, then maybe a slide, then a double jump.
And keep on going like that. So the whole system is designed to allow that.
Thank you, because you said the magic word, systems. So now let's talk a little bit about our crafting system, because it did change a lot, right?
Yes, it did. Right now we have two options for the players. One's modding weapon, and the second one is creating items from scratch. Items like lockpicks, potions...
Grenades?
Of course. Both ways benefit from the ability to be upgraded through interactions with the Craftmasters.
That's a new feature that we have added. So maybe let's explain a little bit about it. Craftmasters. Those guys, they give you those small tasks, mini missions, usually focused on gathering resources, and when you complete them, they will upgrade your blueprints, so the items that are produced are more effective. Did I forget anything?
It's worth mentioning that most of the blueprints have 9 levels, so there's some upgrading to do. Some of them are simple statistics, like more damage, maybe more durability, but there are some that will add new experience to the game.
Such as?
You can imagine a situation when you can stick your explosive to the enemy body.
Okay, this one. So this one I very much like. Yes, I agree. There's so much to try and explore that I'm sure players will have lots of fun with this. But our weapon modding system, it also got more advanced and more flexible. In the first game, it was more scripted. You were getting a blueprint, and it allowed you to install only one specific blueprint on one specific weapon type. Right now, it's more flexible. It's different. So how exactly did it change?
So we added completely new layer of complexity to the modding system, and right now players can get up to 3 modification slots per weapon.
Oh wow.
And they can use it as they want in the game, so they can put each mod in any of the mod slots they like. So you can imagine the situations when we play the co-op together,
okay.
And we find the same base machete.
Okay.
And you're gonna go for what? Damage? Of course, for damage, and maybe adding electric discharges on hits.
Okay.
I will go with more handling and maybe fire area of effect. So at the very end, we're gonna get 2 different experiences from the same base machete.
An amazing example. Thank you, Colonel. And I think you will agree that not only the crafting system, but also parkour and combat are flexible to allow any player to experience Dying Light to stay human however they like.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much, Timon.
Thank you for joining me. And now that you know even more about the features and mechanics of the game we have been working on since the very beginning, I hope you can't wait until December 7th as much as we do. Stay tuned
and stay human.
Holy shit, 9 levels to mods? Where did he say that? Like, so not only are we going to have mods like, say, Angel Sword, which is the most OP until the Volatile Hunter Sword. Oh, God. We're going to be able to, okay, so I'm going to speculate here. We're going to have 3 parts. Oh, God, sorry. 3 parts to modding. There are 3 mod slots. I'm assuming the blade or the actual deadly part, the handle, and the connector. So, you know, you got all 3 solid slots. Connector probably increases, oh, like, I don't know. I don't know how to speculate with this. There's so much we don't know. Oh, God. 9, upgrade your mods, and then they have, most of them have 9 levels. Holy Christ. I guess we'll just jump into the audio story. God, just... Yes! So I'm gonna mute again, so...
Can true love happen in a city corrupt like this one? It happened to me. Listen. It's begun. It's good that we found this shelter.
We will keep moving in the morning. Don't be scared. It's a solid building. There's hope monsters won't get inside.
With all due respect, those who say hope dies last don't know shit about dying. In this city, hope died 20 years ago when the military dropped the, medicine on us. You're young, so you don't remember. But this whole city, as large as it is, its structure, people, houses, and parks melted from the chemicals that were meant to save us. Lucky those who stayed inside at that time. Some people died immediately. Some mutated into monsters and are banging on our door now. Monsters like the Howler, Spitter, Banshee, or Goon have become new honorary citizens of the city. For only 3 crystals, I'll tell you the scariest true stories about them.
No, thank you.
3 crystals? Pricey.
As you like, kids. We're not leaving this place until morning anyway, so we're going to spend some hours together. A good story could help kill time.
I don't know. Maybe 2 crystals.
But for a story about Volatile?
A Volatile? Are you sure?
Yes, tell the story, Grandma. But a good one, or I won't pay.
All right, I'll tell you the best one I know. But you can keep your money, because this time it won't be made up. I'll tell you nothing but plain truth, not just some legend. But nothing's really free. You'll owe me a favor.
What favor?
A small one. We'll settle it. Deal?
We don't have to pay? All right. Deal. Go on, Grandma.
It was just before the bombing. You were not yet born, so you don't remember. But it used to be a beautiful city, full of beautiful young people. There was a couple, almost just like you, young in love. They both worked in a school. They'd always been inseparable, but the bombing found them apart. Him on a camping trip with the children in the woods. Her under the thick roof of the school.
And she survived, and he turned into a monster, and that's how their beautiful love ended. There are plenty of such stories, Grandma.
What you've heard of, boy, are some urban legends. I want to tell you the true story, because none of the living knows this one. Unless you don't want to listen anymore.
We do. We do want to listen. I'm sorry for my fiancé. Please, go on.
Well, she survived, but he turned into a monster after months of mutations. And on top of that, into the worst kind, a volatile.
Told ya.
Oh, hush already.
Once turned, he came back to the city and wandered from shelter to shelter every night. He did not kill the guards, nor did he attack the shelters. He'd just come as close as Uvaris let him and looked, sniffed, listened. Then he'd walk away. Hell knows what he was really doing, but it appeared as if he was looking for his beloved. Some even pitied him, but a monster is a monster. One night, they laid a trap for him near the new camp. It wasn't easy, but finally they killed him and hung his large, muscular bulk on a lantern, apparently to scare off other monsters. Oh, like these one banging on our door right now. During the day, everyone would come to feast their eyes upon the dead monster. Some people spat on him, threw stones at him, or wanted to burn him. He was hanging like that for a few days, until passing by, his fiancée recognized him from the scraps of his clothes. He had this red band that engaged couples used to buy for each other before the virus. Look, I have one too.
We saw them recently, but haven't bought them yet.
When the girl realized it was his body, she immediately went to plead with the Peacekeeper commander to bury him.
Bury? A monster? I thought you burned them or leave them to be devoured. But burying? Like a man? That's news to me.
I told you, no one knows my story. She tried to convince the commander, saying monsters are not some brainless zombies, but sick people. And people deserve a burial. Such has been the law for centuries. Of course, the commander did not give in. So at night, she stole the body of her beloved and buried it by herself.
Wait, by herself? She took 200 kilos of a lantern by herself?
Well, maybe not exactly by herself. They say that that night her students, whom the bombing had turned into monsters too, were helping her. Apparently, somebody saw her walk inside with the flowers and a funeral cortege of monsters carrying the massacred corpse of the volatile after her. In the morning, the guards noticed somebody had stolen the monster's body. Only one person was suspected, and one was sentenced. At court, she didn't even try to defend herself.
But she did it out of love. They couldn't possibly convict her for that.
She was convicted for disobedience and witchcraft. There could be only one sentence. To make it more humane, Instead of being hanged, she was bricked up in a tower to slowly starve to death.
How human indeed.
In a tower? Like the one we're in now?
Actually, not so much like this one, as in exactly this one.
What?
In this one? Now you've really creeped me out.
A year later, they opened the cell in which they had closed her to take out her corpse and bury it. But there was no corpse. It was just her, alive. She never told anyone from where she had food and water. When they opened the door, she just walked out and disappeared. The end. So, love, my dear, is stronger than death and transition into a monster. Remember about each other, if that was to happen to you too.
A curious story, really. But are you sure it's true?
Look through the window. What do you see?
Well, not much. It's dark.
Left of this bus wreck, there's a place where nothing grows. See?
Yes, I see it.
That's a volatile's grave. Since his death, every night, someone lays a small white flower there, night after night.
Romantic.
We made a deal, right? I am old, and I'd like you to...
I'm not laying flowers on a monster's grave. No way. Never.
I'd like you to bury me.
Bury? Where?
Right next to him.
I'm still not sure whether the woman was telling the truth or made all of it up. You decide for yourself. But since you listened till the end, you owe me. Share this story with some people. There's so much evil, death, and hatred in the city that we deserve at least one legend about love.
Okay, that one was kind of cool. That wasn't what I was expecting. You know, I started thinking, like, for no discernible reason, I started thinking, like, this sounds like the end of The Following. And, you know, just, like, if you were to do the nuclear ending, it seems like, you know, she, if I remember correctly, the head lady of the cult, she like puts her hand on yours, and she just like, let's do this journey together kind of thing, and then the screen goes to white or black, something like that. I don't remember. It's been a while. And like, it's like this tender moment of, I understand what you're doing, and this is like the only way it could work. And you know, hopefully you're doing it for the good of humanity and all this, or you try and take the quote-unquote cure, and you know, go through a whole boss fight, which is really cool. And then when you come out on the other side back into the slums, you turn into the Night Hunter. But this really wasn't what I was expecting from this audio story, because it's called Antigon. Antigon? You're not gone, is what I'm getting, because it's got anti and gone. And, you know, the whole, I want you to bury me next to the volatile, which, you know, I kind of had a suspicion was like, oh, you know, she did it and everything. But, and like, whatever. It's, oh, yeah, let me, game.com/which monster. Yeah, I know you do cookies. Okay. Which kind of monster are you? So it looks like a howler, banshee, a normal volatile, a biter. Imagine you're visiting a beautiful European city. It's one of those lazy days when you have time to scroll around with some tasty coffee in your hand and cool music in your ears. You wish this time lasted for a bang. Suddenly, military drones drop something on the nearest neighborhood. Accident? No. It's an airstrike. Bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang! Pull my double trigger! Explosions are closer and closer. You want to run, but you don't have anywhere to hide. You don't have where. You want to run, but you don't have where. I see what they're trying to say. Okay. Yellow smoke creeps towards you. Plasters your feet, legs, torso, lungs. Last thing you remember is a monster's hand holding your cup of coffee, but wait, it's your hand. Fill up the form below and check which kind of monster you are. What's your blood type? I don't know my blood type! AB, RH, negative, positive. Oh, I'm assuming A, AB, B. I don't. I'm just gonna click a different one. Do you eat meat? Yes. Have you recently encountered a monster from Dying Light 2? Stay human, even if it's just while watching the Dying to Know show. Yes. First thing that comes to mind when you see UV light. A safe zone. What do you feel as the night is coming? Assignment adrenaline. You sometimes scream while you're asleep. Think not, but maybe. What do you do when you have to comfort someone? I send a message, I tell them everything to their face. What do you feel when you get really, really angry? Anger fills my whole body. My palms are sweating. Palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms heavy, something about mom's spaghetti! I don't even listen to Eminem! Are you ready to know your fate? What am I? A demolisher. Ooh, okay. Demolisher's split jaw suggests that the mutation took a sharp turn in a different direction right before a viral's transformation to a volatile. Ooh, okay. So, almost a volatile. Chemicals caused his body to grow to monstrous proportions, but not uniformly. One arm is larger than the other. And his disproportionately massive and sharp bones puncture the skin. When furious, he tramples everything in his path like an infuriated rhino. Yes, finally, you get a perfect excuse for this devil of a mess in your room. You know what, let me select a different blood type. Skip story. Or that one. Eat meat, yes. Yes. Safe zone. I love being awake at night. I don't scream at night. What do you do when you have to comfort someone? Everything in their face. Anger fills my whole body. What am I now? Is it still Demolisher? Yep, okay. What's this? Oh, monsterization? A human turns into a monster. The Heron virus progression is similar to rabies. After you've been bitten by an infected, the virus gets to your bloodstream and slowly but inevitably spreads around your body. Disease degrades nucleobases of your DNA and affects nervous and motor functions throughout the 4 stages. Stage 1. Flu-like symptoms. Cough, sweat a lot, pupils become dilated, get a fever, and cold chills. Body temperature rises up to 43 degrees Celsius, which... I don't know. Something in American. You have convulsions and your skin starts to degrade. Stage 3. Your skin looks worse and worse. Everything's itchy, so you scratch yourself to ease the suffering. You scratch, and scratch, and scratch, till there is no skin anymore. Just one big open wound. You can't ask for help because virus affects your ability to speak. Stage 4. This is the turning point, after which genetic mutations become irreversible. You're a sick human, trapped in a rotten body of a monster. Oh, biomarker, cool. The wristband that monitors the progression of the infection in your body, cool. On the inner side, it is attached to the vein by an elastic needle. Ugh. Outer side, there are diodes that change from green to red depending on the phase of the infection. Watch it carelessly. As long as it stays green, you are safe. When the last diode turns red, it will be the last thing you see, at least as a human. History began in 2013. 2023. After years of 10 years, after years of pandemic, humanity was on the verge of extinction, and the city became the last bastion of civilization. Fall of 2024. A chemical compound, the THV GenMod, was discovered. Turned out it accelerates the decay of the infected's DNA and causes their death, giving hope for a pivotal weapon in the war against monsters. January 6, 2025. The Black Monday. The massive chemical bombings that were supposed to save people not only killed hundreds of thousands of them, but also caused large-scale mutations which gave birth to new types of the infected, such as howlers, suiciders, and goons. Okay, suiciders, I'm assuming, is the mutated bombers. Goons, we've had those. Since then, the city has been full of all kinds of monsters. Do everything you can to not become one. Yeah, let's just do some random. Let's do. You eat meat? I try not to. No. Disco. No. What's in their face? What do I get now? Viral. The UV rays don't slow the spread of the pathogen in time. An infected individual enters the first stage of the disease and becomes a viral. Virals are still full of vigor, which the virus enhances further. They're constantly uneasy and racked by spasms. Once they find a prey, every muscle in their body instinctively engages in a mad pursuit. They'll chase it relentlessly, and as soon as they catch it, they'll chaotically beat it, scratch it, and bite it. Like wild animals, the viral's posture, their tense muscles and tendons, emphasize the aggression boiling beneath the surface. As a viral, you may get significantly better results in the gym, so be prepared for that. Okay, skip story. You know what? ABR8 or H negative. What is this? A, B, and O classification derived. Okay, so yeah, this is just. How would you have a different type of blood? Negative belong to the reptilian lineage and their genetic influence. So if possible, 4 general blood types. The Rh negative lacks these proteins. Okay. Reptilian beings visited the Earth and created through genetic manipulation the Rh positive with an intention of creating a race of slaves. The Basque people of Spain and France have the highest percent of Rh negative blood. What? What the fuck? Okay, you know what? Let's just go back. I'm just gonna click a different one. Eat meat, yes. No. It's for disco. Excitement and adrenaline. No. I send a message. Anger. What do I get? What do I get? What do I get? Ooh, volatile. Yeah, okay, so it is just like completely white. When a viral manages to avoid UV radiation for some time, they evolve into the deadliest of the infected, a volatile. Primal strength that crushes any hope for a fair fight. His skin has hardened into armor over the years. Oh boy! That's gonna fucking suck. The yawning hole in his torso clenches like a jaw, giving you no opportunity to deal the lethal blow. Yawning hole in his torso. What? Okay. It is a species that will rule the earth, unless somebody exterminates it. Careful when fastening your seatbelts, as your open ribcage may cut them unwillingly, and you might get a fine. I'm even more terrified of the volatile now. Okay, so hold on, let me try and get that again. So, not that. So a different one. Do you eat meat? Yes. Yes. Safe zone disco. Safe zone disco. I mean, a safe zone. Excitement and adrenaline. No. As far as I'm aware, I don't talk in my sleep. Send a message. In anger. Revenant. Ooh, cool. One of the new ones. Assembling a character from the worst nightmares. Revenant's easy to tell from other infected. Oh. Easy to tell from other infected. He's unwieldy and slow, and moves hesitantly, as his thin legs can't really support his bulk. His attempts to maintain balance are made all the more difficult by the growth on his back, which looks like petrified wings. These special mutations can buff surrounding monsters by creating a zone of toxic mist. Now you can say, I welcome you with open arms, not only to your friends, but also to your enemies. Have fun. Ooh, that's... So he's... Oh god. That's terrifying. Different one. Do you eat meat? I try not to. Yes. Disco. Drowsiness. No. Face to face. Anger. Banshee. I'm good. A vivid symbol of punishment for the sins of vanity and unbridled consumerism. Pieces of her evening dress still cling to the Banshee's petite body, as does some gold jewelry. Her hands are transformed into claws, her manicured nails into talons. Although Banshee is driven by instincts, her behavior seems to indicate some unsettling remnants of humanity. Could there be a woman trapped within the rotting flesh of this witch? Tormented by brief flashes of lucidity? Look at you, that evening gown and jewelry. I mean, you're the monster with the best taste in fashion. You should be proud of yourself. So I'm assuming to get quick cash, kill these things. Oh, God, you know, I want to try and a different one. Yes. Yes. Disco. We're trying to get the Suiciders or Bomber. Ooh, human, okay. Yes, you're still human. Remember, the humans are the most dangerous monsters of all kinds. You, somebody in the city, seems to be your dearest friend. As soon as there's not enough food or water, this may change. Trust no one, and as nobody trusts you. You were lucky, but sooner or later you will join the monster army. Just a matter of time. Ooh, that's a good one. A different one. Yes. Encounter Come on. Human again? Okay. One more, then I will call it there. Different one. You eat me. I'll go completely honest this time. Have you encountered a monster from Dying Light 2? Stay human, even if you just what? Yes, I've encountered all of them. First thing when I see UV light, if I'm thinking normally in life, I think disco. I'm thinking in game, safe zone. I'm gonna answer as an in game. What do you feel as the night is coming? I'm not gonna say excitement, but definitely adrenaline. In real life, yes, excited. I love the night, seeing how it is 3:04 a.m. Drowsiness and the ability to think clearly. So yeah, excitement, adrenaline. Do you scream while you're asleep? No. What do you do when you have to confront, not comfort. I'm an idiot. Confront someone. It's a toss-up, actually. Tell me to their face. What do you feel when you get really, really angry? Yeah, whole body. So probably Demolisher again. Yep. So, Demolisher is my official designation. Unless, you know, assholes actually make this happen, then it'll only be a matter of time. Finally, you get a perfect excuse for this devil of a mess in your room. Congratulations. That's hilarious. So, I guess now is the perfect time. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever. I don't care. You know the whole YouTube spiel. Broken record on a broken machine. Don't give a shit. Yeah. I'll see you in the next episode. Maybe it's probably going to be Devil May Cry. But, you know, maybe I'll upload something on Dying Light, or you never know. Honestly, I don't even know. Fuck. So yeah, have fun.